Three cinephiles have come together to bring you strong opinions, controversial statements, epic battles, and plenty of fun. Introducing our host, the man who watches 52 movies a week, drinks 52 beers a movie, loves women but hates the woman, from the foreign land of Canada, our host, Moodz 616. He is widely known as the man who talks too much. His worst enemies are Postmaster P and Pee Wee Herman. He said Hellraiser was overrated and Leprechaun Origins wouldn't suck. He's the full-blooded half-Mexican, JP. Finally, we have the man who doesn't talk enough. He is best friends with Sean S. Cunningham. His favorite horror movie is Gummo. He is your favorite Jew and mine, Jeremy. Together they are known for extending a helping hand to vampircons everywhere. They are the 22 shots of Moodz and horror.
Yes, y'all, it's going down right now. Episode 54 of the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horrors coming at you live. I am your host, MOOD to the Z, representing PGBC. Y'all know me.
Holy.
Yeah, and of course, I've always got my two camp counselors with me. NES ruler, also known as Jeremy. And of course, we've got the sexy Mexican JP, also known as Double Shot J. Yeah.
I hope we aren't as uninteresting as the camp counselors in Madman.
That's foreshadowing.
I had to say camp counselors because
I was hoping you wouldn't say Madman. I was
not going to say Madman. Camp counselors seemed a lot more appropriate.
Yes, absolutely. Because you want it to be relevant to the movie, but not just as obvious as like Madman. Hey, these are my Madman friends over here, right? So you want it to be close, but not exact.
Because, Madman is one. If you say Madmen, now you're just talking about, like, the TV show.
Yeah.
Or a gay porno.
Or gay, exactly. So, guys, what's going on? Back in the midsummer for this summer slasher extravaganza, I guess. I mean, what better time to do a summer themed slasher film in the than in the middle of the summer. I mean,
good pick, Jeremy, because I didn't even know that this was like a summer camp one. So that's pretty cool. That actually works out really good. This is probably our final summer show before we get rolling with the regular season, in a few more weeks. So good pick, Jeremy.
Yeah, I finally did something right for once.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. This was, a perfect pick for this time of year. So, but yeah, what's been going on in the days of the homies here? Me, myself, nothing. I've been just busy with work, man. All I do is camp and go to work. So I got no good stories to tell.
Did you have fun last weekend?
Actually, last weekend was a blast. It was a blast. Did some party barging, did a lot of swimming, a lot of drinking. Weather was good, which was nice. So
lots of drinking.
Yeah, I can't complain. It was a long weekend, so it was pretty awesome. That's all I'll say.
Long weekend. They have a day off just to have a day off. It's pretty much what it is.
It pretty much is what
actually.
It is.
Is it like Labor Day or something? No, maybe that's in September. I don't even know. I don't even know what the holiday is. But yeah,
stupid.
See, our government tries to give us a stat holiday in every single month now. So they're starting to create holidays, but this one's always been there though. But no, there is some pretty stupid ones. I think there's a really dumb one in February.
I believe I remembered looking it up, and it was like a time to relax and reflect on all the hard work you've done, or something like that. That's what the holiday is.
Well, there you go, man. There you go. That's stupid.
Yeah. So, Jeremy, what have you been doing?
Nothing. Just been watching a whole bunch of movies and reviewing them, and just chilling. I go back to school in 3 weeks, and that should be it.
Okay.
Boring.
Well, since you guys don't have anything exciting, some lady hit my car.
Yeah. That's shitty.
Yeah.
I guess you couldn't find the old country
people buffet. Should not be allowed to drive. How old do you think you figure she was, JP?
60s, mid to late 60s, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, she was actually coming out of the doctor's.
let me guess, the eye doctor.
No,
which is kind of
wasn't.
That would be hilarious. I would have been on the floor like dying laughing.
Let me actually.
She's coming out to the optometrist, and your eyes are good. Yeah, your eyes are good.
I'll briefly tell you guys this story. So, I left for work that morning, and right away I woke my pap up because I thought he might have needed the car because I thought he had a doctor's appointment that day, but he didn't. So then I get in the car, I go, and there was a dead kitten on the road. And I was like, oh, poor, dead kitten and stuff. But I just kept going. It might have been alive, but,
So I just kept going.
Well, the road that I was driving down is, like, notoriously bad. I've actually hit a cat on that road before. But it's like there's just cats everywhere. Like, it's a bunch of stray cats. But there was a little kitten, it was kind of sad. And I go to Walmart, and I go in, and I have to get a Monster, obviously. It's early in the morning. So I go and grab a Monster. I walk outside, and I'm like, walk up to my tan Civic, and I'm like, what the fuck? Somebody smashed my car. The bumper's smashed, the taillight's smashed, and the back quarter panel's smashed. I'm like, looking around, throwing my hands up like, who the fuck did this, And then I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't my car. I look one space up, and that's my car, a tan Civic. It has to be the same year, or at least within 1 or 2, because it looked the same. And then 2 minutes later, I get smashed in the same exact spot that I seen that smash on the car that was not mine. Bad omen,
so
huh?
weird.
Well, I think what's going on here is that we've got a rabid granny on the loose. She's fucking driving around smashing Civics.
But seriously, it was
hopefully she doesn't. Hopefully her eyesight isn't as bad as the people who restored the Blu-ray.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
But
that is weird though. That is weird.
I do not believe in any type of supernatural or anything like that. I've always kind of been, very like scientific based in my theories and stuff like that. So it's kind of weird because like it did feel like that morning did feel weird. Like the dead cat, that I thought my pap was going to drive the car thing, and it was just like bad omen after bad omen. It really was weird, and it kind of got me thinking.
Was the dead cat a black cat?
It actually was a black cat, and I swear to God it was a black cat.
Well, there you go.
It was a kitten.
There you go, man. Yeah.
Wow.
The worst kind right there.
Yeah.
That's the worst kind.
Yeah, so, but seeing a Honda Civic, the same exact color, which is like a tan, and having the smash exactly where my smash ended up being, on the same side of the car and everything. The only difference was their bumper was a bit more smashed than mine. And it being parked it wasn't there when I parked there. It parked behind me. So you know what I mean? It's just like, it was a weird morning.
That is weird, actually.
That is shitty.
But everybody was okay. The woman admitted to it not being my fault. And, we got it all squared away. So that's good.
That's very interesting, man. I've recently seen a dead moose on the road, of course, in Canada.
Oh, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
What is the plural word for moose?
I guess mooses isn't really a word.
What's the plural word for goose?
Geese.
So
Geese.
Should we start calling multiple moose meese? Because I'm down. I heard that on a podcast recently.
That's actually a good point.
Greg's podcast, they were talking about, because he was hosting with 2 people from Canada, and they were talking about moose, and he was like,
oh my God, really?
Was there meese? Like, there was, like, and it was funny. I was like dying. So I just thought I'd bring that up because you saw a dead moose.
Yeah, man. Somebody got off a flight one night, and there's only like basically one road into there's like one main road anyways, and it's like, it's brutal for animals, like tons of deer and moose and stuff, and of course somebody that just got off a flight nailed a mama moose, and there was a calf actually with her too, so they had to go and track down, but man, they fucking splattered this thing, man. It was brutal.
I feel like the moose would splatter her.
Well, this was, it was a mum. It's not like a bull, right? But they actually hit it in a big truck. They hit it in a big truck and fucking, it did quite a bit of damage to the truck. But yeah, this moose was splattered.
Well, my information on moose is very
sad.
Limited, so I wouldn't know anything.
Yeah. But yeah, enough talk about dead animals. Wow. It's kind of an odd conversation. All right, JP, we got some news, buddy.
Yeah, we do have some news, and I thought that it was only fitting that we kind of started out with this just because, you know, it's something that happened over the last week that we really didn't get a chance to talk to from not having a podcast, but, you know, famous wrestler and actor and all-around awesome guy, Roddy Piper, died at the age of 61. He was found in his Hollywood home having died from natural causes. In 2006, he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, but was declared cancer-free last November. He was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2005. He is most notably known from working with John Carpenter on They Live. Great Scream Factory release. Pick that up. I mean, there's a great commentary on him on there with him and John, and I've said many times that that's one of my favorite commentaries, and really kind of opened my eyes to how cool of a person Roddy Piper was. And of course, you know, Ronda Rousey recently, after he had passed away, kind of dedicated that fight of hers to him, because he actually gave, you know, her name's Ronda Rousey, and she got that name from him and asked him for permission when she was coming up through the judo ranks in the Olympics, called him up and asked permission to use that name. And of course he said yeah, and I thought that was a cool story. Jeremy,
I did not know that.
Do you want to say some stuff? Because I'm sure you know him more than I do.
Not really. I wasn't really into his wrestling years. You know, I really didn't watch much of him, so you know, I was a little bit before my time. I know, you know, people more towards, you know, a little bit younger than Moodz probably would be more connected with him than me, but how the hell do you die at 61 from natural causes?
Yeah.
I thought that was strange too.
Yeah.
Weird diagnosis. Piper was actually like my second favorite wrestler, so that was kind of, you know, growing up. Heartbreak Kid was always my favorite, but Piper was just one of those personalities that you just couldn't ignore. You know, he was so vibrant and amazing.
He was the best talker of all time, easily.
That's the thing.
He's the best heel, too.
That's the coolest thing about Piper, man, is that he was. But to be honest, he wasn't like the greatest wrestler, but he was so enjoyable to watch because of his personality. He just had a natural, you know, kind of glow. He was just an amazing person. And it really kind of shows on screen in They Live, too, just how awesome he was, you know. Very likable. But
yeah. Definitely,
it's a sad loss, man. You know, wrestling seems to lose so many people every year. It's just terrible. But you know, he's too young, man. 61, sad. But I always said that Piper should have done a lot more movies.
Yeah, but this year's been like really bad.
He legitimately, and I'm not just saying this, he did a great job acting in They Live. Like, I really believe that he did. And John Carpenter even sent out a tweet saying that, you know, he thought that Piper was one of the most underrated actors that, you know, existed and that he's had a chance to work with.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't good in Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies, I could tell you.
Oh, well, it's not even that. It was his performance of the movie.
Yeah,
bag of shit. That movie sucks, and I was actually going to bring up that point too. It's kind of sad that I think that might have been his last film.
There's another one coming out.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, Piper back in the 80s, he should have had a lot more roles. I don't understand how he was never given more options, or maybe he was and he just turned them down. Who really knows? But it's such a shame that he didn't appear in more films, because They Live is a really good performance, and not just saying that because he passed away. It's actually a really good performance. But you know, he did a couple other films, like action films and stuff, and the names escape me right now, but that I thought he was really good in too. You know, the movies themselves weren't the greatest, but it's a shame, man. You know, but
yeah.
Rest in peace to Piper, man. Amazing guy.
Rest in peace. So after that, we actually have a bit of, you know, this happens every once in a while. It happened with films like Hostel and Cabin Fever, and I'm sure it happened more recently than that. But there's a film called Bite that was at Fantasia International Film Festival, and apparently somebody had an episode there. 2 people fainted, 1 girl puked, another hit their head on the stairs at this film. And it's kind of like made a big splash in the press because anytime something like that happens, ambulance had to be called and stuff.
You know what it's going to turn out to be? That all those people that had, the puking and the faintings and stuff, no, they probably just diabetic and their sugar levels were low and they passed out. It's going to turn out to be something like that. It's not even a big deal. It's like,
they handed out
remember when the Ring remake came out in theaters and someone died in the theater? Like, I don't know, like a heart attack or some shit. Yeah, like someone actually died in the theater and like, oh yeah, The Ring's the scariest movie of all time. It kills people. And I'm like, wait a minute. No, this person actually had a medical history and just happened to die in the theater watching The Ring. So, it's probably another one of these cases.
They handed out barf bags.
That's something that I was about to point out, and that makes me feel like, so these filmmakers might have actually made a really gross movie here, because before the movie started at its, world premiere, they had these barf bags. Obviously a marketing gimmick, but still,
it's not the first time they've done that.
It turns out that these people actually...
Mark of the Devil came with them, too.
A girl threw up in the theater, so, like, maybe this movie is something pretty fucking nasty, which just gets me intrigued.
Well, of course. I mean, it's the greatest ploy ever. This movie makes people sick, literally. That's amazing. I want to see that shit. Even if it is puking and scat porn, whatever. I'll watch it. I don't care.
But you will watch witchcraft.
What is going on in this film?
9, 10,
What is going on in this film that's making people sick, though? Like, obviously, the people that are going to see these films probably watch a lot of depraved and sick, extreme type films. So what exactly is in this film that is separating itself to the point where you're actually physically getting sick? I'm intrigued. I want to see this.
Yeah.
And trust me,
it looks like it has to do with bugs or something, which even gets me more excited because I love bug movies.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's certain shit like that, but puking though? I don't know. I guess we'll have to see.
How do you puke on that, but you don't puke on like Solo? That movie almost made me puke.
I don't know, man. I gotta watch it still. I got it today.
Oh, you're gonna puke, or you're gonna gag really hard.
Yeah, poo does do it for me though. Like I've heard there's a lot of poo in it, so and that does kind of get me going a little bit. And I have a really bad gag reflex when it comes to
I can't wait to hear you talk about
pus and poo, man. I hate pus.
Can't wait to hear you talk about that movie.
Okay. Okay. So after that, VHS, there was going to be a spinoff film called Siren, which is based on Amateur Night, which was David Bruckner's short, who is now directing the new Friday the 13th film. It began filming last week in Georgia, and it's the story where, it's the succubus story that's becoming a non-found footage spin-off full film itself. So that's actually happening.
You're excited about that.
Yeah, it's actually going to premiere on Chiller in 2016, so it might be a Chiller film, like, release.
Scream Factory.
So the Scream Factory is going to pick that garbage up.
If they even do Chiller anymore, I'm not even sure if they do now that they have IFC.
Yeah, true that, right?
So, we'll see. After that, we have a bit of news on Hellions. It's supposed to debut at the Toronto International Film Festival, and the only reason I scooped this up in the news is because it has some cool ass fucking pictures. The stills look awesome, very atmospheric. Mm-hmm. So back in March, IFC acquired the rights to the director of Pontypool's new film Hellions, which takes place on Halloween night in the town of Waterford, the so-called pumpkin capital of the world. Hidden among the trick-or-treaters, a group of masked demonic beings roam the town and come upon Dora, a teenager home alone for the night. Cut off from the outside world and under siege in her isolated home, Dora will need to defend both her body and soul from the relentless evil being known as Hellions. So, fuck yeah, that sounds badass.
So it sounds like a really fancy home invasion film. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but can you picture like a dark, foggy Halloween night and people?
No, I like it, man. Actually, when you were giving a description, it kind of gave me goosebumps a little bit. I'm like, I can just picture these little demonic creatures dressed up in costumes where no one can tell what they are. That's kind of a cool premise. Halloween, it gives them the perfect opportunity just to walk around in the streets and then go and fuck with someone in their house or do whatever they're going to do. I'm sure there's a,
plot.
There is a plot. But no, that sounds cool, man. That really does sound cool.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a teenager, right? Like it's a small. It actually looks like a younger girl in the stills. So
Well, I gotta say, man, what was the name of this movie again? Hellions?
yes, and it comes out
Hellions.
September 10th and 20th in the Toronto International Film Fest. So I guess it's not really gonna hit us for another year, probably.
Oh yeah, at
Okay.
least. Yeah.
So Hellions. I think this movie, it sounds like it would be a really good match or a pair up with the movie Mischief Night from, I believe it was last year or the year before. It's a Halloween themed film, basically, with a really weird, it's like the setup is a home invasion type film. I'm not sure if I talked about it on the podcast, but it's like it seems like it's going to be your typical type home invasion Halloween type film, but it's got like a major twist to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. It actually kind of caught me off guard because I didn't really know anything going into it, but I think that film right there and this one would be like a good complementary piece, you know, a good double feature by the sounds of it anyways, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's just what I wanted to say about that. It just kind of reminded me of that one that it's one of those films I've never heard really anybody talk about before, and it's really good. And if you like Halloween themed films, check out Mischief Night.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. Is I just love the idea of like films set on Halloween. Like you have so much atmosphere you can create by setting a film on Halloween, and I'm an atmosphere junkie. Like that's probably, if a film can have good atmosphere, then it really does like pretty much can make any film good if it has good atmosphere.
I agree. As I sit here staring at my Gates of Hell trilogy posters, I'm thinking the exact same thing.
So after that, we have a date finally for The Dark Tower, which is going to be like this long rumored Stephen King adaptation. Sony Pictures went and set a date for January 13th of 2017, which means that they would probably have to start production very soon on it to make that date, because these films are supposed to be huge.
Yeah.
That is literally all the news with that, though, is they set a date.
Which doesn't mean shit.
Doesn't mean
2017, exactly. Yeah.
After that, we have another date set. FX announces the October 7th premiere date for American Horror Story Hotel. So the 5th season, I believe.
This could be cool.
Seriously, it took them 5 seasons to set it in a hotel? It just
But
seems like the
they
obvious
picked some
choice.
kick-ass settings.
Yeah, I like that's what's so cool about them, is like the setting of each one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I really got to get into this show, man. Like, we talk about this so much, and like, I always joke about it. They're probably going to do like 8 or 9 seasons, and they'll finish the show, and then I'll start season 1. Yeah. So, but yeah, Hotel, that's cool, man. That's a cool setting.
Yeah, this is a little bit of DVD news that I just seen pop up. I know it's been announced already, but the Bram Stoker Dracula is getting a 4K Blu-ray treatment in the newly announced line from Sony called the Supreme Cinema series, which is going to, I guess, take some of the titles in Sony's archive and give them like super Blu-ray transfers, 4K transfers, and commentaries and booklets and stuff like that. So Sony owns a lot of films, so
yeah, but too bad you have to have a 4K TV to watch those. So
really, I didn't know that.
If it's 4K, you have to have a 4K TV.
Like, they won't even play at all?
No.
Well, wasn't
Crazy.
this Madman
And you have to have a 4K
transfer?
There's a 4K Blu-ray player too. You have to have.
Oh, so it's like this whole fucking
It's not
3D gimmick thing.
Are you serious?
To watch 3D, you have
positive.
to have a 3D TV, 3D Blue player. Oh my god,
You have to have a special a 4K Blu-ray player.
Really?
Yeah.
that's fucked up, man. There's just no way. I mean, can you get 4K all region players?
Because it says
that thing's useless to me.
it says it's going to be on Blu-ray and digital HD combo pack.
And
So digital? Is there digital 4K players? Like
I'm just telling you, there's 4K discs. You need a 4K Blu-ray player to play them.
and can you name one?
Can I name?
So, but if you're just watching on a normal,
Okay, Ghostbusters
1080p.
came out a few months ago in 4K. And you have to have a 4K Blu-ray player to play it.
Really?
Yes.
That's terrible. Why is this something that I haven't heard about?
Okay, I'm confused because, like, which Ghostbusters release? Like
4K Ultra Blu-rays will land on store shelves by Christmas. If you're hoping for a 4K, I guess they're even not even out yet. If you're hoping for a 4K Blu-ray player upgrade to show off a swank, oh, that's shitty writing. A swank new 4K television, Christmas 2015 should be the highlight of the year. According to Victor Manduia, the Blu-ray Disc Association Global Promotions Committee Chair, 4K Blu-ray discs will be available for the holiday season, along with a bevy of new technologies and additional features. In addition to supporting 4K resolutions, the new discs include support for multiple types of high dynamic range lighting and a new digital bridge feature. The digital bridge feature is the physical media's world's method of offering the kind of digital convenience that streaming services sell, blah, 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 to buy or not to buy. The big question, of course, is whether or not Blu-ray UHD is going to find much of a market where 720 and 1080p movies hit retail shelves nearly 10 years ago. They were an immediate and obvious upgrade over DVDs, just as DVDs have been a huge upgrade over VHS. With 4K, the difference becomes more subtle, and the advantage depends more on the quality of the encode and the size of the TV you'll be watching. If you have a 32-inch 1080p screen, you may not notice much improvement from 4K output. If you plan to install an 80-inch 4K monstrosity TV, on the other hand, 4K will be a huge upgrade, even compared with upscaled 1080p. Blu-ray UHD will be popular with users who have limited bandwidth, low-speed connections, or who will simply want to enjoy the absolute best screen quality, but the standard may be slow to percolate, especially since video-on-demand services like Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime has likely sopped up at least some of the potential customer base. Studios who rush to market with the same handful of remastered titles that they previously offered on 1080p may find viewers less interested this time around. Upgrading from an old VHS to 1080p version of a movie, it was worth calling it a remastered edition. But the 1080p to 4K jump is going to be much smaller as far as the objective final quality of the film.
So this Madman release is a 4K transfer.
Mm-hmm.
So
it is expected that new players will retain the option to play 1080p Blu-ray discs, just as modern Blu-ray players could still handle DVDs without a problem. There's no plan for a 3D standard for media players this time around because there's no native 4K 3D content. The shift to 10-bit color, however, should pay dividends.
It's not going to do good.
No way.
So this transfers in 4K, but it's on a 1080p disc.
I guess
that plays on these. It plays on these standard Blu-ray players and DVD players that are Blu-ray players that we have. So what the spectrum is here is that they're releasing 4K discs that have to be played in special players. And then you basically the objectivity here is okay. So you buy these 4K discs, which I'm never going to upgrade to 4K. That's fucking stupid because you got to buy a Blu-ray player specifically for that disc.
Don't say never.
But then again, this is a really, really big upgrade because, like Jeremy said in there, he goes. It all depends on the size of your TV too. So if you're watching on like a 32 or 52, or basically you're going to notice a big difference in an 80-inch. Who the fuck can put an 80-inch? Like, who has the room for that? I mean, dude, I have a 52 down here, and I mean, is it going to be noticeable for me if I hook up a 4K player and put a 4K disc in there? Am I going to notice a big difference on my 52, or does it have to be a 60 to an 82? Inch TV. That's a big fucking. This is a lot of money.
Yeah, I think you need to have like a
fucking
big
thinking here.
I think you have to have like a brand new big TV.
That's always when this new technology hits.
This Samsung that I have down here is like it's fucking awesome, but I mean, really, it's 52 inches.
Blu-rays, though, right? Like you had to really upgrade a lot of stuff when Blu-rays first came out. But as time goes on, it becomes more affordable. Now anybody can literally afford a Blu-ray player and a flat screen, 1080p TV. So yeah, obviously,
I know, but some of these 80-inch TVs are going for like $4,000, right? I mean, if you're talking 4K TVs too, dude, I mean, you're upgrading not only the media disc, the fucking Blu-ray player and the TV. Like, we didn't really have to do that with DVD and Blu-ray. I mean, essentially,
you did. I don't think you remember when Blu-ray first came out, dude. Blu-rays were $30 a piece. And Blu-ray players
I remember when they first came out.
Ridiculous. Like, I couldn't afford it any way in hell. I could afford a Blu-ray.
Dude, I remember when DVDs first came out, man. I remember seeing DVDs going for $40 and $50 a piece.
But this is normal. This is normal when a new technology comes out. The problem with this one is it's not enough different to take off. So what I think will happen is...
No, I'm just saying, when DVD came out, though, you could, you pop it into your PlayStation or whatever, if it played it. Yeah. But, you can at least hook that up to your normal fucking tube TV. Now you can't do that with this, man. You got to upgrade every fucking thing.
Yeah,
that's just a big difference.
When I went from Blu-ray to DVD, from DVD to Blu-ray, I had the regular old TV still, so I had to get a new TV too. Mm-hmm. And I upgraded way.
But the point is, you could still watch those on there. You just wanted that better quality. The point is, if you have to buy, a specific TV to play these specific discs on the specific player, that's all specific, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, like you can still watch a Blu-ray player on a tube TV, right?
You
can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it have an HDMI port?
There's composite on the back of Blu-ray players.
Dude, you can still hook them up through, yeah.
Okay, but how do we know we can't do that on these new ones?
Because they're 4K.
Well, I'm assuming the technology only works through those cables, which if the disc is only playing on a 4K player, which only plays on a 4K TV, which is going to give you that back. I can't imagine you not being able to see it visually on.
Well, I don't think they said
like
that,
on a 1080p.
Did they?
About what?
See, that's where I'm confused. Because I'm confused. I understand the fact or the technology of the 4-disc only playing on a 4K Blu-ray player, but I can't imagine it not being able to play like on a 1080p TV.
I don't think they're saying
I think
that.
I think it would just scale it down.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what Jeremy originally said, but I was kind of going, well, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, I understand if you want the full spectrum of it, the 4K TV is probably the ideal way to go, right? So if you want the big, the whole package, that's a lot of fucking money, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a big upgrade. It's big
It's not even worth thinking about yet because it's too new. It's too new to even think about it.
Yeah. I to be honest, I don't think 4K is going to catch on.
No, it's not.
I just don't think people are willing to do this, man. Because we've already
people have not even caught on the VHS, Blu-ray yet,
DVD,
dude.
Blu-ray. I know, and that's exactly what I was just going to suggest. I don't even think Blu-ray is even as big as people think. Like sometimes,
it's not.
There's a lot of people that still buy DVDs like they're fucking, like they're the only technology right now. And so that's kind of the point I'm getting at is that people don't really give a shit about Blu-ray that much.
Yeah, just look at any Walmart in the country. There's so many more DVDs than there are Blu-rays.
Oh yeah.
So, but I do think
this is coming from a major collector's perspective too. Like I personally like Blu-ray, and I'm the type of person that can notice differences. I mean, like you guys can too. But for the average person,
who cares?
What are they going to do? Are they going to spend the $14 on the DVD or the $20 on the Bluray?
Well, I'll tell you right now.
With the DVD, man. It's the price too. They don't give a shit about the fucking little big picture quality. Nah, no.
Okay, so this back to the Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. Is
that what we were talking about?
I think it is a Blu-ray.
Or Keanu Reeves.
This is a Blu-ray disc that's coming out. It's going to be it's a 4K transfer. But
but it's not. It's a 4K transfer, but it's not a 4K disc.
Yeah, which I never said it
discs aren't out yet.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so that's what we got. But it looks like a cool addition. I mean, I've never even seen that film, but that just gives me hope that Sony might actually dip into their fucking catalog like they are with Christine.
Yeah, dude, man. Whew. And reasonably priced too. I saw the pre-orders for Christina. It's like $12.
Yeah, really? It's like 18 here.
Oh, really? I think it was $12.99 on .ca. And I'm like, damn, Sony, big ups, man. What they're doing, they're just
Yeah, that's for all you fuckers who bought into Twilight Times bullshit. Just saying.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's got to have those
that
Twilight Times.
And then
next thing is coming.
Why?
Friday Night's coming out.
Why? I don't know, because it's limited and people like that. I'm not saying it's better.
Is it numbered?
Nah, they're gonna flood the market with. Sony's gonna flood the market.
Yeah, that release will be selling.
Nobody cares about Twilight Times.
The other one, because they're not different enough. If they were a little bit more different, like different cover art and stuff like that, then yeah. But they're the same.
The problem is for me with limited items, it's people see the word limited, and so they buy these limited items. But my biggest issue with limited items is the fact that these companies don't actually number them. which to me is a little shady. You know, how do we fucking know that they only produced 3,000 of these? We don't.
Yeah.
We don't know for a fact. There's no fact stating if these are hand numbered, like a lot of independent artists, you know, directors and stuff do. You know, say Dustin Mills, for instance, limits the shit to 50 Blu-rays, and they're hand numbered. That's my point. It doesn't seem shady then. It's like they're hand numbered, right?
Well, that's the only Twilight Times release I have anyway. Well, besides used cars, but
we see that from time to time though. We see companies do number them, and we see companies don't. And I love
the numbering thing. You know, I don't really care if I get a low or high number. I just like to see the number. You know, I think that's very, very cool, and it's kind of a nice touch. You know, this thing's limited to 10,000, and you got a number, and it's like you kind of feel special at that point.
Yeah,
when you just see limited edition, you go, cool, man. What's it limited to? Yeah, man. Like, I mean, back in the day, Anchor Bay used to limit their limited editions. There was a few that were 100,000. That's unheard of nowadays. Yeah, it's fucking incredible.
Yeah, like
funny.
What's the hand collector? Manhunter.
Exactly right. There's like Suspiria. The first one was like 80 or 50,000.
Well, that
like
Friday the 13th box set I have is limited to 50,000.
Really?
Yeah. It's numbered too.
See, that's cool, man. See, I like the numbers.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm with you too. I feel like if you're gonna limit something, it's necessary to number it. You don't actually have to, but I think as collectors, we all prefer what they do.
It's totally, you know, acceptable if you don't. But at the same time, I just wish they would, because, you know, it just kind of gives you that.
Yeah, and it pissed me off. My Father's Day didn't come with a damn sticker
that you got
on
something. It's more of like a self-satisfaction thing. You're like, I actually got something that's, you know, limited, you know, like it just doesn't say. See, there you go. See a Father's Day.
But mine didn't have a fucking sticker on it. I got robbed. I don't know what my number is. That pissed me off. I was like, yeah, this is limited. I can't wait to see what number I got. And there's
somebody
no fucking
peeled
sticker.
It.
Fucking bitch.
All right, so moving on. We're not even like 1/10 of the way through the news, so we got to get going. A Nightmare on Elm Street is being remade again, apparently. Well, kind of, not really. There's not much information on it, except for New Line has announced that they are doing what is the actual word that they used? The actual word that they used was reboot, I believe. They are rebooting
some word starting with re.
Yeah, they are rebooting the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise again. So to me, that doesn't necessarily 100% mean that they're remaking it again.
Yeah, but that also means that it's not going to be like a sequel. If it's going to be a sequel, just use the word sequel.
Do we want a sequel?
Right? Well, I mean, it's better than fucking retelling the original story for a third time. I mean, fuck.
Fourth,
whatever. My point is, yeah, exactly. My point is, I mean, when you use the word reboot, just come on, man. We got to get more specific here. That just screams retelling right there. You know, I mean, that's kind of the fancy word that people use today to avoid the word remake. Remake is a cringeworthy word that people don't want to hear, so they fancitize it and use reboot, recalibrate,
The problem is sometimes they actually do just mean like reboot though. Like we just want to, hey, this series has been not doing anything for a while. We want to bring it back.
I'll reboot fuck the shit out of you. Jesus.
But no. So I'm hoping.
But you know what I'm saying though? Like honestly, I hated. Everybody knows my distaste for the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. I think it's a piece of shit. It's terrible. But you know, if you want to make a sequel to, I'd be more up for a sequel than, you know, the word reboot. Just use the goddamn word sequel.
Well, listen, I'm going to come out and say this right now. I have a feeling that this is going to be exactly what happened with Halloween, right? When Halloween came out, they said we're going to recalibrate Halloween. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And we all just, you know, bash it like, oh, they're just making another word for remake and stuff. And then when the details actually came out,
it's confusing.
When the details actually came out, we found out that it's actually going to take place in the timeline of the original two films. So I'm feeling that hopefully this is what happens with the Elm Street remake or reboot, is they're going to come out and be like, well, yeah, we're rebooting the franchise, but what we meant was we're, you know, making this weird pseudo sequel thing, which tends to be the trend right now, right? It's like, we're going to make sequels to none of our remakes.
Okay, so I mean, you know, recalibrate. So maybe they're making they're kind of ingesting another film into the original franchise.
That was my initial hopes, but then again...
See, when I hear the word recalibrate, I kind of associate it with, like you said, use the example of Halloween. You know, the new Halloween film, it's a recalibration, which they're kind of just stuffing it into, you know, taking place after part 2, I believe. Is that what they're doing? Right? So it's going right there. Yeah. So yeah, recalibrate. I understand recalibrate into the franchise. Okay, that makes a little more sense. So I don't know. You know, that's just the way I take it. But I'm honest to God, I'm getting tired of these rewords, man.
Yeah,
and
I think we all are.
Because nobody understands fully what they mean, except for remake. Remake means you're taking that original movie and you're remaking it. Reboot, beat around the bush, recalibrate, use your discretion. You know, it's like
reimagining.
Reimagining is another thing. Reimagining to me.
They're all like reimaginings. All of them are.
It's a really fancy word for remake, essentially.
Because so is reboot. Reboot is literally the same thing as well.
You know how many conversations on the podcast have we had about
Too many.
It's ridiculous. But
I think we're recalibrating our old conversations.
Oh my God.
We're rebooting our conversations.
Super meta right now. The thing is that it's so early right now that we don't know that they don't even know anything about it. So that they're just saying, well, instead of saying we're making another one, let's just say we're rebooting the franchise. You know what I mean? So we'll find out more once they know. The problem is with the Halloween franchise, like we said, they're stuffing one in between like 2 and H2O or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's happened with...
It kind of gives it a little bit of meaning to the word then. So if we can associate the word recalibration with stuffing it into something, then at least I'm associating that word with something.
Yeah.
That's my whole point of these words, like something. We don't really know exactly where they're supposed to go and what they mean.
Yeah.
So we have to wait for details essentially.
Yeah.
Or else we have nothing. We can't just associate anything with nothing.
Yeah.
Right. So
basically what I was saying though was, because we were able to stuff one, we've done that a few times with the Halloween franchise, right? Like, H2O was like stuffed after 1 and 2 and ignored 5, 6, 4, 5, and 6. And we've done that with the Chainsaw films, and we've done that with, but we've never done that with Elm Street. So I don't know how it would really work. Are you going to stuff it in between 1 and 3? No, because those characters, they're not going to bring back those characters, because that's what was special about the Elm Street films, was those characters. Now, the only other thing that I can think of is, what is Wes Craven's New Nightmare? That is not a sequel. It's not. That is a reboot. Or a reimagining.
I think it's more of a reimagining. I don't even know what you call that.
Yeah, but it's not
a
sequel in the traditional sense of a follow-up story.
Yeah.
So there is room to mess around in the Elm Street franchise. You can make another Freddy movie and it not be a remake, because that's what that was. It was another Elm Street movie, but it wasn't a sequel. It wasn't a remake. It was just another Freddy movie.
I think that's an interesting example because it solely sticks out by itself because of, you know, the premise of the film. It's taking place in real life. So, I don't know. It's weird.
It's
really weird when you think. It is. It's almost like it is, man, but it isn't. It's weird. I don't even know how to...
But because you are referencing the original film. But
yeah.
Oh, fuck. It's a brain fuck right there. But yeah,
that is a brain fuck.
But so if there's room for something like that, where we get another Freddy film, then I'm down. I do not want to see another origin story. Maybe a prequel could be okay, but then again, that's sort of in like the origins again. But I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about that. I don't want to see. If anything, if this is a reboot, if it's actually going to be a reboot, then reboot Dream Warriors, because then it'll at least be a sequel to the remake as well.
Yeah, true that.
So yeah, we'll talk more about that as it happens. But Freddy is coming back. I'm not sure how I feel about this.
They could even get some new music from Dawkins and everything. You know, Dawkins still rocking. I see what I did there.
I'm a poet, and I know it.
That was terrible.
Oh,
terrible.
There's my Pee Wee reference of the day.
Oh, God. Okay, so a bit of amazing news. Holliston is returning for 2016. Adam Green, Joe Lynch announced on their Movie Crypt podcast, which is one of the best horror podcasts, by the way, that they will be partnering with Geek Nation, which actually hosts their podcast, and they will air 10 episodes for season 3 on the Geek Nation digital network. No word if we're going to have to pay for them, or if they're going to be with ads, if it's going to be all at once, if it's going to be weekly. We don't really know, but we know it's coming back, and that's what's important.
Yeah, that's really, really good news. I mean, the sad thing is, thinking of season 3, there's going to be no Odorous Urungus there. So I wonder what they're going to do with Adam's character. Like, if they're still going to, have him, talk to his imaginary friends, or if they're just going to cut that read out, or just replace the actual physical person into that character. I don't know.
What I think they're going to do is they're going to give like a good send off, because Adam has talked about this many times where it has to be right. It can't be just like, like nothing happened, or it like he needs it to be something special because of him and Dave Brockie being such good friends, and how much Dave cared about that character in the show. He wants it to be something. So I'm sure whatever it is, Adam Green is like a maniac when it comes to like OCD-ness. So I'm sure he's been thinking about it ever since, and he probably has come up with an idea by now. But I'm super fucking pumped for that, dude.
Me too, man. It's awesome. Such a underappreciated show, man.
Yeah, and it might be able to
how many people don't talk about it. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it might be able to find a better audience now, too, because it'll be like on the internet and available for everybody instead of FearNet. Exactly. Yeah, so after that we have Fox. They announced that they're going to be airing a special Scream Queens preview. This is the story that follows a group of sorority chicks exactly 20 years after a mysterious tragedy. A devil-clad killer begins to target the sisters of the Kappa House. Of course, this is the one that stars Jamie Lee Curtis, supercharged horror comedy series, and it is a modern take on a classic whodunit with a killer cast with at least one casualty each week until the mystery is solved. Anybody could be next, victim or the murderer. So, yeah, cool. We talked a little bit about that, but it's obviously going to be like a satire or a parody of slasher films.
Yeah.
Fox is airing a special preview on August 15th, so that's next week.
It'd be kind of cool if it was a serious series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, right away, I'm just thinking, okay.
Scream.
It's just been kind of done to death, so.
It's being done right now with Scream on MTV.
Exactly, so.
Terrible timing.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's not something that I'm going to run out and seek. Like, this is something that when it runs its course, I'll wait till I can find for like $10 on DVD. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then sit on it for another 5 years in my collection. So Rob Zombie teases potential Lords of Salem sequel. This is nonsense. So many websites are reporting on it as like news. Zombie announces his next film, Lords of Salem sequel, and it's clearly not. Yeah. All as Rob said was on Facebook. He confirmed that the film was very successful, saying that Lords was actually his most successful film that he's had on DVD, and so technically another one could be done for sure. That's what he said.
Yeah,
I'm really surprised that it was. I'm surprised it was more successful than Halloween, but interesting.
Yeah, that is a little surprising.
Yeah,
but then you think about it, where like that was the only way to see it, so it kind of makes a little bit more sense.
Well, I mean, it did have a little bit of film festival action, but yeah, I know what you're saying though.
So I doubt there will be a sequel to Lords of Salem, but
it'd be an interesting choice.
It could,
for him to make a sequel to. I know it's kind of weird. I just never expected ever that he would do something like that. I mean, I highly doubt he's going to make a sequel to that. So I don't know.
Yeah. So after that, Tales of Halloween, the anthology that we've talked about many times on the podcast, has finally got a release date. Tales of Halloween will open in limited theaters and on VOD platforms October 16th, 2015. The world premiere just happened at Fantasia Film Fest, and it actually got some pretty positive reviews from that festival.
Oh, that's good.
The 10 shorts take place in a small American town who is terrorized by ghouls, aliens, and killers on one Halloween night. Of course, directed by 10, I believe, different directors. Darren Lynn Bousman from Saw 2, 3, and 4. You have the guy who directed the Night of the Demons remake, the guy who directed Never Sleep Again, the Elm Street Legacy, Neil Marshall from The Descent, Lucky McKee from All Cheerleaders Die, and The Woman, Mike Mendez from Big Ass Spider, Dave Parker from The Hills Run Red, and a couple other people, Paul Sullett from Grace, of course. And it, stars like people like Lynn Shay, and I think there's cameos by like Mick Garris and Joe Dante, John Landis, Stuart Gordon, Adrienne Barbeau, Adam Green. This shit is by horror fans, for horror fans, and we'll get a chance to see it on VOD October 16th.
It sounds so inviting.
It really does.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Really, really cool.
Definitely. After that, Joe Dante's Burying the X gets a release date. Image Entertainment brings you Burying the X to home video, directed by Joe Dante, available August 4th on DVD 2015.
That's right now.
I think I've actually been hearing pretty good things about this. I was I
3 days late, JP.
Yeah.
I read one quote, and it totally turned me off, and it was like, it had something, it was comparing it to something and Warm Bodies, and I was like, I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, man. But I understand the Warm Body comparison, though, because it's obviously something to do with like, a love story and stuff, but apparently this one's actually pretty good. So I'm intrigued. Joe Dante making a return to
comedy, making a return to comedy. Yeah.
It's got It's horror themed. Come on. Zombies and whatever. I'll probably check it out. I'm intrigued, actually. So,
okay.
I hated Warm Bodies
you can pick it up
with a passion.
Yeah, you can pick it up a couple days ago.
No,
couple days.
I know you can, and it's fucking over. It's like they want like $18 for it. I'm like, no, never.
Family video pickup.
Yeah, for sure. So after that, this is another one of those like taken out of context things. Bruce Campbell was asked a question, and he joked that Ash vs. Evil Dead will force us to make more movies. That's only 10 hours of program. We need 8 more movies. Making a 4th movie would work. No matter what we give them, it'll never be enough. And of course, people ran with it, said Bruce Campbell will be doing more Evil Dead films, when really he just kind of, was like, hey. I do give Bloody Disgusting credit, because they always kind of, I wouldn't say always, but at least in these instances, they, really did title the articles correctly. Like, they titled it, Bruce Campbell says more Evil Dead films may happen. May happen.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So,
same thing with your Christine Blu-ray.
Which I was right about.
Exactly, but you weren't when we wrote it.
I was right about it when we wrote it. I just didn't know for sure.
But exactly.
I didn't have undeniable proof, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So after that, we have a return of the After Dark Horror Fest. Another 8 films to die for are on their way. How cool is that? But this time it's not Lionsgate. It is 20th Century Fox, who is partnering up with whoever created the original 8 films to die for. And now they're going to launch another After Dark Horror Fest. How cool is that? The first film is titled Re-Kill, and it's a zombie epidemic directed by the guy who directed Wrong Turn 6.
Oh, that's interesting, because Re-Kill was one of the films that came out in what was supposed to be released in the first, the After Dark. What was the second line? The After Dark Originals?
Yeah.
After Dark Originals. So the first, I guess, season, quote unquote, I don't really know what you want to call it, but they did them in bunches, right? So there was 8 films that were part of that first After Dark Originals, and only 7 of them got released.
Oh, no. So then you're actually talking about the original series of the After Darks then. Like the original Horror Fest.
No, not the original Horror Fest. Not like the actual festivals. Like, you know how there was 4 of those?
Yeah.
Right? They were like actual bona fide festivals, and then they quit that festival, and then they started with those original line.
Yeah.
And they were actually marked at like After Dark Originals. And anyways, the first line or the first season of them had 8 films that were announced, and one of them was Re-Kill. It never got released on DVD, so there was only ever 7 DVDs released from that first season, quote, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and then they
moved on to the
abandoned
second
that
batch
quickly, and they didn't really
there was
list. It was just, we'll put them out as like a label.
Yeah. I think they did them as 2 seasons, and like kind of the end of the season or whatever the fuck it was, and it just kind of ended. But yeah, Re-Kill was announced, like it was a few years back.
Yeah.
So that's cool that's cool that it's actually coming out.
Yeah, they did say that it was initially supposed to be released a while ago. So yeah.
Oh, yeah. So maybe he made it before Wrong Turn 6.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But there is a trailer out for that as well. So that was the first film that was announced, and they announced that there was another 8 films to die for, which was really cool because even though like a lot of those films are bad, that first series was really fun, and this, you know, the second series had its hits, and you know, it has its play. Like a lot of good films came from that series.
Yeah,
it really does.
Frontiers,
man. I actually reviewed every single film in there, and the first couple seasons were really good. The third season is definitely the weakest, but there's gems in all the seasons, though. Mm-hmm. There really is. And it kind of gets a bad rap for, man, those films aren't that great. But, you know, I would just like people to judge if they've seen all the films. Because there is a couple films in there that you wouldn't even think are that great. And Grave Dancers is one. Like, I remember when I first got that one, I was like, oh, fuck, I was looking at the cover going, this is going to be shit. Fucking so much fun. Such a great film. It's got great 80s effects, and it's just one of those things that just kind of stuck out to me. And, you know, I don't know. Mulberry Street's another great one. I really enjoyed it. But
so I'm really excited for this. I think this is great. I hope they do it for another 6 years. You know, it's cool collecting those lines as well. I like different lines of films. So the second film they announced was Murder in the Dark. This one is the second film. It just got announced after Re-Kill, when a group of young people camping in the ruins of a medieval Turkish town play a party game called Murder in the Dark. They soon discover that someone is taking the game too far. This one has a cool little picture as well, or little poster for the film as well. This is going to be released in the theaters October 16th as part of the 8 films to die for. So after that, The Wicked Within becomes the third film in the After Dark Horror Fest. The Wicked Within is a classic horror possession story with relatable characters and nightmares that linger. So they have announced 3 so far, but that's all they have announced in the 8.
Cool.
After that, Scream finally gets greenlit for a second season. It was prematurely announced at the San Diego Comic-Con, but now it is official. I have actually fallen off. I watched the first 3 episodes, I believe, and the third one was my favorite, and then I stopped watching. So,
of course,
funny how that works. But apparently the numbers are okay. Pre-production has begun on The Conjuring 2: The Enfield Poltergeist. James Wan is now starting pre-production, and hopefully the film will hit theaters June 10th, 2016.
Well, that's a fast turnaround.
Cool.
Yep. Sci-Fi is making a Grindhouse series called Blood Drive. Sci-Fi, the cable network, has greenlit Blood Drive, a high-octane, over-the-top scripted series in the classic Grindhouse movie tradition. Set in a near-apocalyptic future, the 13-episode series centers around LA's last good cop who is forced to join a twisted, gory cross-country death race with cars powered by blood and a dangerous femme fatale partner who sees people as fuel. The highly stylized roller coaster ride is a throwback to 1970s grindhouse cinema, said the president of the Sci-Fi and Chiller Network. With its fast-paced thrills and indie feel, Blood Drive will make an exciting, edgy addition to Sci-Fi's growing slate of original scripted series. The grindhouse cinema style remains largely untapped in the television world, The combination of gritty action and dark humor can push the envelopes in some fun and unexpected ways. Actually sounds pretty alright
awesome.
from sci-fi, which is
as soon as I heard post-apocalyptic, it got my attention. I was like, oh, that's awesome. I hope that they put some money into it so it doesn't look like shit. Well, because post-apocalyptic films sometimes, if they're really, really low budget, sometimes they're just like...
crappy.
It's not that great, but, a little bit of money in there, fuck. It's going to be really good.
Yeah. After
Sounds pretty cool, man. Did you said like highly stylized?
Yeah.
And Grindhouse, it's like that's so strange to put together.
Well, no, it's not really. If you take the maybe they mean like the Grindhouse filter, because that's stylized. You know what I mean?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. So after that, they're remaking Nosferatu
again.
They're remaking the 1922 vampire pick Nosferatu. The director is Robert Eggers, who will be writing and directing. Eggers actually has had a big hit that happened at Sundance called The Witch that got a lot of really popular, positive reviews.
Yeah.
I don't really know how I feel about this because, is it necessary? No, it's not necessary, but...
And could it be as good as Herzog's, though, man?
That's it doesn't really fancy my pickles too much, man. I don't know.
Fucking Herzog's fucking top.
I've only seen the 1922 version.
Oh man, you have to watch
Herzog's is good, man.
It's in my top 10.
Yeah. I'll check it out. I do own it. After that, we have Chiller announcing a new TV series called Slasher. Dude, every week it's TV horror shows. It's crazy.
I know, man.
Chiller,
it's the new reality show, man.
Yeah. Chiller announced casting to start production for Slasher, an 8-episode, 1-hour psychological thriller series. Slasher will be filmed in Ontario, October 2015, with an eye towards 2016 premiere. A young woman who returns to a small town where she was born only to find herself the centerpiece in a series of horrifying copycat murders based on the widely known grisly killings of her parents. Murders escalate, Longbird secrets are revealed, making everyone around her a suspect or a victim. With Slasher, the series is a fusion of some of my favorite thriller genres, the classic slasher film, the contemporary murder mystery, and the timeless works of my favorite crime films, the writer was on record saying.
Huh. So it's actually called Slasher?
Yes.
Well, at least they thought about the title. In great depth. Slasher? Really? It's kind of good and bad. It sounds like they didn't really put a lot of thought into it, or they did put a lot of thought into it, because when you hear the word slasher, you're just like, slasher?
Yeah.
So, you can't forget it. So it kind of works, I guess. But I don't know, man. It sounds kind of complicated. I'm not going to judge before I see it, which I probably won't see it until it's done. So
yeah, in 5 years after that.
Yeah.
So the Friday the 13th writer, who is named Nick Antosca, who is the screenwriter on the now canceled Hannibal show, said that he did turn in his draft for the new Friday the 13th film. Of course, that will be directed by David Bruckner and will be the 13th of the Friday the 13th films. So one step closer.
13th in the Friday the 13th series. Big honors, man.
Big honors. You better not
they're gonna fuck it up.
You know what?
After all this speculation stuff, it's going to be found fucking footage, isn't it? They're just going to do it. They're just going to be like, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
And then we all get in the seats. We all get in the seats, and it's fucking found footage. Even the trailer's not found footage, and then just boom.
Found footage. No, it's going to be the first found footage 3D film.
So
what a fucking mess!
I think there already is one of those, by the way. But
is there really?
I think so.
Shit.
So there's actually, I was listening to a podcast, and AJ Bone was on it, and him and David Bruckner are obviously friends from VHS and other things. And AJ Bone is a really big fan of Friday the 13th Part 6. And he told a story of when he found out that David Bruckner was going to be directing. and he said that he went and seen David Bruckner, and he was like, "If you fuck this up, I'll kill you." So,
at least he's honest.
So I feel like David Bruckner is going to try really hard to appeal to the fans of the original series, which is good signs.
Fuck. That's awesome.
So after that, Synapse announced that they were doing an HD treatment for the film Massacre at Central High. I know nothing about this.
Yeah, me neither.
Moodz?
Massacre at Central High?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. I can't place it though.
Well,
is it a
Synapse
TV film?
is releasing it. I have no idea.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to remember if that's... I know it's a 70s film, but I'm trying to remember if that was a TV film. I can't remember. It escapes me.
In other news, Mad Max is getting its 19th release with coinciding with Mad Max Fury Road. There will be a 4-film Blu-ray anthology featuring Mad Max, The Road Warrior, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, and Mad Max Fury Road.
In a fancy red packaging.
Yeah.
Which is going to suck everybody in.
Release, man.
Dude, in like 4 years, everyone's going to have like 31 editions of Mad Max.
It's going to be the new Evil Dead.
Really, man, it is.
Or the new Alien.
And then after, like, you're going to look at your collection and go,
I don't have
Mad
so many
Max isn't even that good.
Mad Max isn't even the best Mad Max movie.
No, it totally isn't. The Road Warrior is hands down.
No,
well,
Fury
the original
Road.
films.
Fury
Well,
Road.
I haven't seen Fury Road.
Yeah,
but
I would
talking
still
the
probably
original
say
trilogy.
that Mad Max or the Road Warrior is probably the best out of all four. Even though I haven't seen the other one, I cannot see it being better than Road Warrior. That shit is great.
Well,
Okay,
Fury
considering
Road's pretty
everyone's saying
fucking
that
awesome.
Fury Road is like the best film.
I
of the
know,
year.
I know.
Yeah,
That's
it's fucking
crazy
awesome.
because nobody really
Everyone
had
is saying
that
that.
high expectations.
It's fucking awesome.
Remember when it first got announced? I was like, "Oh, this is going to be shit."
Yeah, yeah.
Boy, was I ever wrong. I haven't seen it yet, but I mean, just going off people's word. I mean,
Yeah,
really.
I'm excited to check it out. Definitely, we'll see it before the end of the year.
Oh yeah,
This
it
is
comes
actually
out soon though.
September 1st is actually when it comes out, so you'll be able to grab that box set, which I'm not doing. I'm just gonna grab the Mad Max because I already own all.
Well, I already own all the films individually on Blu-rays, so I mean,
I own
grab
2
Fury
copies
Road.
of Mad Max. I do not need a third one. I cannot let that happen. Because my vampire journals will start to get jealous.
I was just gonna say Vampire Journals. That's so funny.
IFC Midnight acquires a #horror social media slasher.
It sounds original.
I didn't get that. Yeah.
Yeah, so after that, Tremors 5 has got its release date. Tremors 5 Bloodlines will be hitting Blu-ray, DVD, combo pack, and digital HD October 6th of 2015. Fucking love those films. Super pumped for that.
Yep.
Like, I actually love the Tremors films. Like, the second one is such a good movie. The first one is like a genuinely good, like, mainstream movie. And the second one is a damn good sequel. And the third one has its place, too. Looking forward to the 5th one. What about you guys? No?
Yeah, man.
Past one.
I haven't. I actually haven't watched part 3 and 4 in so long. I don't even really remember them. So, to be honest. But you are right, though. Tremors 2 is a good sequel.
Yeah.
It is a
So,
good sequel.
rounding out the news, is, at least I think, we have all of film announcements. Slasher video, September releases. We have Boarding House. We have Cemetery Sisters, Death Nurse 2. All these are on DVD, of course. And the last one is Splatter, Architects of Fear. And then on Blu-ray, we have Cinco de Mayo. We have the Shock 'em Dead, Trashology. Is that a horror film? Not
Man,
even
it looks
sure.
fucking hilarious.
Trashology.
Yeah,
it's
it looks
pretty
so funny.
It's pretty fun.
Deadly Prey, Deadliest Prey, and this is not a slasher video, but they're also releasing The Woods on Blu-ray, which is a good movie. Ish.
What about Killer Workout?
Yeah, Killer Workout.
Did I miss that one? Yeah, I missed that one.
Killer Workout's
Sorry about
coming,
that.
which is one that I'm super stoked that's finally coming out because I think we have a release under Aerobicide, or maybe that's in the UK. I don't think it actually ever had a official release over here, but I think that Aerobicide edition is cut, which sucks.
Oh yeah, Killer Workout, that is on Blu-ray as well. Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah, so that's pretty exciting. Cool shit.
And that wraps it up for the news. Long one.
Damn, that was a lot of news.
That's a lot.
Alrighty, so moving along into Moodz Swingz in the new releases, the DVD and Blu-ray releases for July. Jesus, I don't even know what fucking month I'm in. August 11th. And actually, the last couple weeks there's been a fair amount of decent ones, but I'm not going to get into those because y'all already picked up all those movies because you're hoarders like us. So we'll just get into the August 11th DVD and Blu-ray releases. First up is one that actually surprised the shit out of me because when I first saw it on here, I was going, this movie didn't have a Blu-ray release before. And it is Dead Silence.
How did this movie
not have a Bluray release before? It just kind of really surprised me that it's getting one all these years later.
It has an HD DVD release.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's
Okay.
weird.
That is weird, man. It's being released by, of course, Universal.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's something I will not upgrade. I mean, I have the DVD. It's fine with that. But
Mallrats just came out on Blu-ray, and that was only on HD DVD. Where's Half Baked? Come on, you fucking assholes.
Next up is another release that's just so strange to me. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. I mean, when this got announced, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, what the fuck?
Who's putting that out?
Universal.
People will buy it, though.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't get it, man. I mean, at least they used that,
cool cover.
that cover art, that's kind of cool. But really, like another edition of Halloween 3, yeah. Probably not going to happen. Next up here from Scream Factory is the collector edition of The People Under the Stairs. Just fantastic commissioned artwork on this one. I think everyone can agree with me on that one. It's just really, really well done.
Yeah, I love it.
Looking forward to that. Mine actually shipped today. I know JP got his about 3 years ago. Oh, no, it was 3 weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like 3 weeks ago. But, I mean, honestly, I did get it for the poster. That's the thing that people don't like pay attention to is if you get a Scream Factory sale that has free shipping, yeah, you're paying maybe $1 more per title, but you're getting free shipping, so then you can order The People Under the Stairs, and since it's free shipping, it comes with a poster, so you're paying like $5 for the poster. It's totally worth it. I did that with Shocker as well. That's how you take advantage of those Scream Factory sales. You buy their collector's editions that come with the posters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you hold on to those fucking things, apparently they go for about $150 a piece.
Only for They Live.
Oh my god, that was ridiculous.
I actually don't have.
It's so crazy. Yeah, and originally Serpent in the Rainbow was supposed to be released this week, but it got delayed until 2016, you said, JP?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it got a big delay. So yeah,
Which
that is not coming out this week.
I would have rather Shocker got delayed.
Yeah, man, I don't really like to see delays in general, but
yeah, true.
It is what it is. It is what it is. This is a movie I actually don't really know anything about. I'm assuming it's more of a thriller, and it's called Still of the Night, starring Roy Schneider and Meryl Streep, which is a strange one. But it's getting a Kino release, so it's going to be a good release. But if anyone's interested in that or even know anything about it, leave comments, because I actually have never heard of that film, which is strange. Next up is one that had a little bit of buzz, when it came out in theaters. I heard a lot of mixed opinions on it, and it's called Unfriended.
Yeah.
Another one of these internet-based type films. It says the runtime on here is 166 minutes.
Well, that's a lie.
That can't be right. This is also being released by Universal.
That's a Redbox watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. I don't know, man. It didn't really intrigue me at all. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Who knows? It might be okay. Who knows? Next up here, we got a double feature high school horror. This
Jeremy should help.
Oh, yeah.
Bloody Homecoming and Varsity Blood. Well, I've never seen Varsity Blood, but I have heard that it's shitty. And we already know that Bloody Homecoming fucking sucks donkey dicks.
So bad.
It is really, really bad. This one you might want to skip on.
All cheerleaders die in there.
I heard that one's not that bad, actually, though.
I don't mind
I
that.
thought it was
I know.
average.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit better than average. I wasn't entertained by it. Here, I don't announce one of these ones in a while. A 20 feature horror collection. From what I can see on there, it looks like a bunch of shit. Of course, this is being released by. Oh, here we go. Echo fucking Bridge.
Pick them up. They make a lot of print. You never know.
So what we got on here, we got the the Greenskeepers on here. The Dark, Croc, Man-Eater, Grizzly Rage, Killer. The movie's fucking called Killer. Shit, I thought I was having a stroke there.
There's not even a space. It's just Killer.
Yeah, it's like one word. Daughters of Darkness, that's strange. I don't know why that's on there. Yeah, a bunch of shit, man. 20 packs, so if you guys are interested in,
I don't know why.
20
And
films
if
probably
20's not enough for you...
yeah, this one outdoes, the 20 pack, and this one's a 30 Nightmare Movies Volume 2.
On 3 discs.
Holy oh my god, are you fucking serious? Okay, these movies have
actually
so
6
many
discs.
multi-pack releases, it's crazy. Puppet Master, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's got Netherworld, so a bunch of Full Moon stuff on here. Prom Night 1 and 2, Killjoy.
Hill.
I mean, you see these movies on all these multi-packs, like Zombies vs. Strippers, Last Man on Earth. Okay, Eat Your Skin, Mortuary. That's a weird one. But yeah, 30 films on 3
but unfortunately,
discs.
hopefully they're better than fucking Funeral Home, that son of a bitch multi-pack. Fucking look forward for fucking 3 months, finally finding the fucking dump in, buy it, come home. Yeah,
Seriously,
Funeral
though,
Home.
we gotta talk about this runtime.
Kinda looks
Why
like
do they just put one runtime?
Yeah, I know.
2,587 minutes. Why?
I don't know.
In what way would you ever need to know that?
Exactly.
Ever.
Next up here is a film I know nothing about. I'm assuming it's a film, and it's called The Changing of Ben Moore.
Looks
Released by Bayview.
Is it a ghostly?
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming it's like a possession film. It looks like it's actually Spanish. I don't even know.
Bayview releases
Ben
some
Moore.
good stuff.
It's totally a Spanish film, right?
I think Bayview's the one who's releasing Judy here.
Actually, they are releasing Judy. Yeah, that's interesting.
I tried to get them; they wouldn't reply to my emails.
Next up is a film that I actually am kind of intrigued, so I did order it, and it's called I Lived.
I have that. I got that sent to me.
Yeah, so
It's okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
I kind of read the premise on it, and it was really, really cheap. It was only like $8 or $9. So yeah, $9 on here. So
I had a review for it. I just haven't posted it yet, just simply because of the fact I've done so many. But it's okay. It has this weird second screen experience thing on your phone that doesn't really work that well.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty cruddy.
We got a bona fide ghostly up next.
Oh, bona fide, man. Poltergeist Activity.
No, this was at Walmart already.
It can't even be real. That can't even be a real title.
I sent you the picture yesterday when I was at Walmart.
Okay. The best part about this, it says based on a true story. Really? Like, come on.
I mean, this is as ghostly as it gets. It literally is. You take one of the most ghostly words ever, activity, another one of the most ghostly words ever, poltergeist, and you jam it together,
and you have a shit sandwich.
Yeah.
It's by Phase 4. Come on.
Oh my god. Oh my.
Phase. Is it released by Phase?
No, it's released by
digital media.
Digital media.
Yeah, so you know this is going to be some real no
Crap.
one's going to pick that up. That's ridiculous.
Saw it at Walmart. It was $13. I'm like, who the fuck could pay $13 for this?
$13 for Poltergeist Activity?
Yeah.
Damn.
That's a deal.
Next up is one I've actually pre-ordered too.
You
I've
pre-ordered
wanted
this?
to see this.
For how
fucking
much?
rights I did, man. I don't know, 15, something like that. What is it, 19 on here?
No.
There's a fucking
$29.95.
20. I didn't order the Blu-ray because DVD is not dead. Yeah, released by Kino, which I believe this was actually like a Scorpion release. I believe it's supposed to be Scorpion, but maybe it's one of those buy releases or whatever. But yeah, The Rain Killer. So yeah, Kino. It's funny, man. Actually, I didn't even have the option for a Blu-ray when I ordered it. It's strange. It's really fucking weird, but
Maybe it's a
it's one I've wanted to see for a while. I think it's more of like a thriller type deal, but it's been on the radar for a long time. I know Scorpion had announced that one like last year, so they mashed it up with Kino, which is kind of cool. And last up for the releases here, we've got a film called none other than Zombie Resurrection. Jesus. Jeez. Can we get any more with the generic titles in this?
Pretty generic. That's more generic than Apocalypse that I saw.
And I feel bad too. Because Midnight Releasing is releasing this, and I do reviews for them. But this one just sounds so bad. It's so generic, man.
Yeah. Zombie
Resurrection. Of course, all zombies resurrect. What do they do? It's ridiculous.
If you've seen Moodz' face, it was like just genuine utter confusion. Like they all resurrect. What are you talking about?
Oh, Midnight. I'm sorry, but come on. And yeah, that's gonna do it for the DVD and Blu-ray releases, unless of course you guys got any more. But I don't think that is.
Moodz, what is your release of the week?
My release of the week is, well, this is kind of a no-brainer, really. I'm going to have to go with the 30 Nightmare Movies Volume 2. No, quite obviously, the release of the week this week is Scream Factory's The People Under the Stairs Collector's Edition. I mean, really, just for the art, the commissioned art alone is just fantastic. Kind of jealous that you got that poster, JP. It's a nice one. It's one of the better ones. I would say it's probably top. It's a top shelf tier. It's an A tier release.
Yeah, definitely top 5 probably cover arts that Scream Factory's done. But I had this image in my head where I see The People Under the Stairs, Shocker, and The Serpent in the Rainbow all postered on my wall in frames, and it'll be like a nice little Wes Craven arc.
Wes Craven? I'm not familiar with that name.
Oh, sorry. And I mean Wesley Craven.
Yeah, I know that guy.
Wesley Craven.
Then I actually thought about it, and I was like, oh man, what about Deadly Blessing? I'm going to have to track that one down.
And that one's probably like $50.
They released posters for Deadly Blessing too, and I'm like, shit, well, I want to complete the arc.
And the Deadly Blessing one was quite limited too, like 200 or 250 copies too. It sucks.
I seen it for $30.
That's not bad compared to, the 150 shit that we were looking at yesterday. Jesus. Who's paying $150 for a damn 11x17 poster? Come on.
If anybody has the Deadly Blessing poster, I will trade another posters of Scream Factories for it.
There's one for $20.99.
Oh shit, well I'll just buy it then.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. So, but yeah, how did you forget about Deadly Blessings, man? I guess it's probably because it's been out for a long time.
Since 2012.
The original releases.
That's
one of the original.
Yeah, it was one of the original 6 or something, I think.
Something like that, yeah. All right, so yeah, that's going to do it for the DVD and Blu-ray releases for August 11th. Of course, 2015. And yeah, moving along into voicemails / questions. I don't know if we have any questions this week, but I'm pretty sure that we did have a couple voicemails. So JP, you want to play those for us?
We do have some voicemails, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know what they are, but I do believe we know what Brandon's was because he had sent it on our last show during the show, and I think it had to do with the film we was talking about. So I'll play that one anyway, just because we didn't get to it last time. And then we have 2 from Derek as well.
Hey guys, it's Brandon. Sorry I missed calling in on the Chilla show. Great episode, by the way. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts on The Death King. I actually have going to watch this weekend, so when I listen to the cast, I'll be able to listen to the opinions and agree or disagree. Question, with all the great releases coming out and being announced, especially Mosquito, what's your top pick for film that still needs either a release or a nice release? For me, the film that really needs a great release, sort of like a Nightbreed collector's edition type, would be Cemetery Man. Interested to hear what you guys think. let me know. Hope you guys take care. Bye.
So
It's so
I
strange
know
too
that,
because we like.
We already talked about
Yeah,
this. Like
yeah,
three
because we'd
times.
like done this top 10 Tuesday recently on, films that need, Blu-ray treatment and stuff.
Yeah.
And of course, some of us had like films that had never been released on DVD in there and blah, blah, blah and stuff.
Yeah, so I think that, since we did do that, the best way to answer this question is, Moodz, what is your film? Like, the film that needs release for you, has never
everybody
had a
knows me.
release.
Oh, that's never had a release?
Yeah, that's what I would, because he did mention that too. So I think since we kind of did the what film should get Blu-ray treatment, I feel like now what film should be the one that you would like to see released that's never been released.
Even on DVD?
That's never had a DVD release, like in Region 1.
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting question because that's never had a release. To be honest, man, I would love to see The Kindred get released in a really nice edition. I would probably have to, for one that doesn't have a DVD release. Yeah, The Kindred. I'm going to go with that. I love that movie.
What about you, Jeremy?
Fuck, I don't know.
It was Ghost Town, right?
It was Ghost Town, but that's already done. Come back to me. Let me think about it.
Mine was. I guess mine wasn't Mosquito since it had a release before, but it like barely had a release. You can't pick Clown House because that technically had a release as well. Honestly, I'm starting to run out of them. Like mine for the longest time was like the producer's cut of.
How about The Keep?
There you go.
Yeah, The Keep. That's a good one.
Which really sucks too because that movie's never going to get a release because Michael Mann has the rights to it.
Yeah.
And he has basically stated that he's never going to release it because he doesn't like the film.
Well, how old is
so
he?
That's how old is Michael Mann? I don't know.
Because when he dies, those rights go to somebody else.
Well, there you go. I mean, okay, as long as Michael Mann is still alive.
The Bower, that's another good one.
Because he did, I actually read that somewhere, like he had quoted that he is just not going to release the film. He's not proud of it. It's his very first film. He doesn't like it. And so I see The Keep on a lot of people's wish lists and that really sucks. It's kind of like wishing for Clown House. It's just not going to happen. So,
yeah.
But yeah, The Kindred's my choice. Yeah. What did you pick, JP?
I didn't pick yet.
You didn't pick anything.
Yeah. My pick right now, simply because, like I was saying, so many of the ones that I did want have been released. Maybe it would be like the other cut that is supposedly exists of Hellraiser Bloodline that kind of like clears a lot of things up. That, or I would say, Elves, just because it's such a fucking weird movie.
Yeah, man. Elves. That's good stuff. I mean, if we had to pick like a release, just something to come to Blu-ray that, obviously does have release and stuff, my obvious choice, man, is the Phantasm box set, man.
Yeah. I
would love to see a really fucking sweet Phantasm box set because, I mean, one doesn't have a Blu-ray release, or 1, 3, and 4. That's like my number one thing. I would love to see like a really cool Sphere type edition of it. And
do we know who owns the rights to 1, 3, and 4?
Anchor Bay.
No.
I mean, as far as I know, Anchor Bay did. So when did they lose the rights?
Coscarelli has the rights now.
What the fuck is he waiting on, man? This is money in the bank for him.
Phantasm 5, and he doesn't own Part 2, so it's kind of fucked.
So do you think who has the rights to Part 2 right now?
Universal / Scream Factory, so I don't really know.
Well, if he makes a deal with Scream Factory, right? He could use the box.
Well, it's probably Universal.
Yeah, it's probably Universal now.
It's probably Universal. They probably just subletted the...
Yeah, they definitely did sub-license, but like for how long,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll see. Apparently,
we're already seeing the rights reverting back and stuff, right? I mean, look at Halloween 3 and stuff like that, so...
Yeah. So the thing is that David Steinman actually was the guy who said that apparently Don Coscarelli is in talks with Image to release some of those films on Blu-ray, some of the Phantasm films that he owns, which just sounds stupid to me.
Yeah.
Image, really?
I don't trust that dude's credibility anyway. So.
that seems fucking weird, man.
Yeah. What is this, the
Interesting.
Laserdisc age or something? Image used to release fucking everything, man.
All right, so after that, let's move on to Derek's voicemail. And Derek is one of two, so I don't know what he said here. I don't know if he's like I watched one of them be like a fuck up day. He's like, "Hey, don't play this."
Oh well. Joke's
oh
on you.
well.
We'll all laugh at you, I promise.
Hey guys, Derek here, as usual. Just wanted to let you know I'm really digging these summer shows. They are wicked awesome.
Thank you.
Just want to let you guys know, you guys showed me talking about horror is cool and you inspired me. I started my channel up finally and loving it. I just wanted to thank you guys for that. If it weren't for your podcast and these voicemails, I probably wouldn't have done it. I got surprises planned for all three of you guys. Moodz, yours will be being sent out probably tomorrow or Friday when the show's being recorded. The other two, the following week. It's not much, but it's a small thank you for you guys. Hope you enjoy it. I just hope it's not in true full screen. See you guys in the next voicemail with a question or two. Thanks again, guys. Wicked awesome.
Man, that's one cool cat. Just saying.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I could receive any more stuff from people because I just can't.
You know, it's actually
like I
it's
feel
actually kind
bad.
of funny. It's funny, man. I have 7 piles on my poker tape right now, and all those piles are packages going out to people. Fucking so bad, man.
Yeah, it only
That's-
took 8
that's
months to get my package.
Oh fuck! I can never get to the post office, man. I'm terrible. It's just
I'm
such
real bad
it's
at
such
it.
a bad place for me.
Well, mine's only dude. Mine is only open from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Monday through Saturday.
It's so crazy.
That's so fucking weird, man.
That's so early.
Yeah, it's bullshit. That's what it is. So yeah, did he ask a question?
So, yeah.
there, or?
No, he was just thanking us. But yeah, you're welcome, Derek. I mean, I'm glad that we could help you start your own channel, and you're doing really well.
Yeah.
Watching your videos and stuff, and yeah, you know, you starting
You're
to get
better
a little
than
more
I
comfortable
was
in
when
front
I started. I was awful.
I don't even remember my early videos, to
But-
be honest. I couldn't even tell you what I did, but
You know what?
Yeah, I was watching JP's early
Hey,
videos. They're hilarious.
Don't even.
His Hellraiser reviews.
Shut
are
up!
fucking
I
awesome.
don't even want to hear this. It's so embarrassing.
Go look at my videos. I'm fucking 14, man.
Yeah, you definitely are a shankle.
Yeah, I'm a shankle. Hey, I actually didn't do it this time. I didn't have a tripod either. So
And you're like sitting down. Like, oh, I don't even.
it's a shankle. It's a shankle.
It is
any
a
of us
total
had-
shankle.
I don't think any of us had tripods when we first started.
I did.
Fuck.
I had
I
a
mean,
fucking
if you already
webcam.
have good lighting and a tripod and a good camera and everything for your first video, you've been planning this out way too
Yeah,
long.
In
fuck
10
off if you
in
do.
10 years in film school, they're going to be like, and this is what's called the shankle angle.
You know what I love about this podcast, and I'm thinking about adding this to the site, is a dictionary of all these terms that we've created, from Hall of Payne to a ghostly to the fucking shankle ankle to true full screen. We have so many references that new listeners are like, what the fuck are they talking about? And there needs to be a place on
Contained
the
horror?
website. Yeah,
Contained horror.
contained horror. And there needs to be a place on the website that lists all these different terms that we use.
20
The
shots.
shankle angle. That is great. Jeremy actually comes up with a high percentage of these, by the way.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Oh, man. Okay, so the one thing that I will say is Derek and anybody else listening who is thinking about or has thought about creating a YouTube channel, when I first did it, before I first did it, I was always like, hey, I want to do it. I was thinking about doing it. I watched this guy. I watched Mr. Parka. I watched Ryan 1988. This guy, all these different guys that were on YouTube at the time. And I was like, man, I would love to do that. And I just kept waiting and waiting. And then when I finally did it, I was like, why the fuck did I wait so long? So basically what I'm saying is if you're thinking about it, stop thinking about it and just do it. Because you're going to have fun, you're going to meet cool people, and you're going to have a blast doing it. So just do it.
Yeah, Derek, even though I don't comment, I am watching it. So just moods, like your videos, you just always fucking yell at me.
Doesn't that just sound like the biggest excuse ever? I'm watching, but I don't comment.
You don't either.
That is true.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah, it's pretty rare that I actually come across a comment for, well, either one of you, like on any video though.
It's funny. Sometimes
it's weird. Like I'll watch videos.
We'll click on a video and see that I had commented on it from another person, and he'll be like, "Yo, you commenting again?"
I comment a lot less now because of just the timing when I watch videos. But I mean, I always like stuff, and it goes to Twitter. So if you guys are on there, you guys always see that I'm obviously watching videos and stuff.
I feel like that's why I always be sure to like it, because I'm like, then if they follow me on Twitter, they'll know that I like their video.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. So let's move on to Derek's second voicemail.
Hey guys, I'm back. Eric here, got 3 questions, one for each of you. Moodz. I was wondering, because we both know about my communications, what are a few titles you would recommend for someone who wants to grab a few of them? I know some of their transfers are hit or miss, but if there was like a title that you would recommend to someone that they have to check out, which ones would they be? JP, I know that you dig Scream Factory, but are there any other lines or labels that you wanted to check out more titles from or collect? P.S. Bruce Lee is awesome. Jeremy, I know you reviewed a Western recently on your channel. I was just wondering, since I'm a Western lover myself, what are some of the Westerns that you have seen and some that you would recommend to someone? And what are some that you would be interested in seeing, if any? Alright, that's all I got for you guys. I hope you enjoy it. Answer the questions. Peace out. Wicked awesome.
All right, thank you, Derek.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't catch what company he was asking me about because Jeremy was playing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I missed what company he asked. Did you guys hear what company he was asking
Maya
about?
Communications or something?
Yeah.
Was it? Oh, it was Maya Communications?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now that makes more sense that he said, the transfers being not the greatest and stuff. Yeah. Maya Communication, I have a fair amount of them, and yeah, the transfers are really, really, hit and miss on those, man. The ones I would recommend though are like all the Lamberto Bava films. I know that, you're a big, Italian fan and love Lamberto Bava's, but I gotta say, like, Graveyard Disturbance and, Until Death and, the other one that I reviewed, I can't remember the title right now, but, those ones all have pretty good transfers. I would recommend those. What other My Communication? I can't even think of like what's on there. If you guys want to go ahead, I'll continue my answer. In a second here.
Me, I do like Scream Factory. I thank you for noticing. So yeah, the labels that are out there, I would collect if I had the money. Synapse is one that I love, like some of the releases that I see by them, and only own a couple. So that's a label that I really missed the boat on. Same thing goes for Blue Underground. Like I only own Maniac and Zombie and stuff. Arrow is a label that I would love to collect. I love Arrows. They are really good. That Society and Contamination release was really fucking awesome. And I hear great things about their UK titles as well. So I'm actually going to pick up a couple of those pretty soon. One is Blood and Black Lace that I'm going to scoop up from Amazon UK probably for a little secret project. And, there's a lot of good labels out there. And I just do not have the money to get. But, I'll grab a few here and there. Like Synapse, I'm definitely grabbing Mosquito. That's a day one purchase for me. But there's some great, I mean, just so good, so great labels out there. And I love being a horror fan because we get to see these awesome releases for some of these, like, underappreciated gems. Jeremy? Westerns?
Westerns, alright. It's a good one. It's a good question. Definitely John Ford's My Darling Clementine. It's a really good, Y-Earp type of a talent. That one's really good. That one just got released by Criterion. Recommend that one. The Tin Star, which was directed by Bud Boddicker, has Anthony Perkins and Betty Palmer in it. It's a really interesting Western, and Henry Fonda's in it also. Anything with Bud Boddicker, he's a really interesting director. He makes a lot of low budget Westerns, but they're really, really good. He worked a little bit with what's his name? I can't remember. Who's the guy who was in North by Northwest? Fucking Cary Grant. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. He did some movies with Cary Grant, and they're really good also. So, if you guys get a chance to check out any Bud Boddicker Westerns, are really good. Same with Anthony Mann. Those two guys, Bud Boddicker and Anthony Mann, are like the two prime Western directors. They're really good. But like I said, My Darling Clementine, it's probably
fucking
my
John
favorite
Ford,
Western.
man.
Yeah, anything John Ford, you know what you're gonna get yourself into.
Yeah, man.
And The Searchers, of course. Searchers is fucking awesome. So yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, my communications, man. Like Derek said, man, the transfers can be very hit and miss on there. The beauty of the company, though, is that they release some of the sleaziest shit like around, man, like super sleazy. But I would definitely recommend Four Flies on Grey Velvet. That release, actually, the transfer is pretty good on that. I forgot about Joe D'Amato's Horrible, too. That one's pretty good also. And like I said, the Lamberto Bavas, those are probably the best ones. The Girl from Cortina, which I believe you already have.
Wait, there's a Four Flies Blu-ray?
No, it's a DVD.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
There is a Four Flies Shameless Entertainment released one.
That's UK, though, right?
It is in the UK. And I believe it is Region 2. I don't think it's all Region. So... I do recommend Blade of the Ripper, another Sergio Martino film, if you're interested in that. It's a pretty interesting giallo, kind of cool. And that's really about it. Like, I don't have a ton of my communication releases because some of the releases are, to the point where they're softcore porn and stuff. And I'm not I generally don't buy that stuff because, you can get the hardcore stuff for free on the internet.
Well, you will in the future when we do witchcraft.
I just recently picked up Arizona Cult Returns, which is a Sergio Martino Western, actually, which I have not watched yet, but I've been really curious on it. Really curious about that one. So I'll let you know my opinions on that one. But yeah, the ones I recommend the most, the Lamberto Bava films. Definitely grab those. They all look good. So probably the best ones. All right, so yeah, I guess that's going to do it for voicemails this week. Thank you to Derek and Brandon again for phoning in. We always appreciate your guys' calls. Fuck, you guys are so retarded.
Just punch him,
You guys are so stupid. I hate you. Thank you once again for calling in or texting, whatever the fuck you guys want to call it.
Oh, man.
For phone calling us. Yeah. On your cell phone.
Oh, man.
You guys are dicks. Anyways, moving along in Moodz Swingz here. We started a new segment called Knowledge. I believe last podcast in episode 53. We kind of premiered it. This week we're going to continue along with Knowledge. And JP, you want to take us away?
Yeah, so knowledge is just basically a time to talk about something. Maybe it's a topic, or in this case, it is the topic of the Hall of Payne. So it's something that was created in the Warlock episode, which I believe was episode 33. And the story goes, we was watching the Warlock films and reviewing them, and we got to the third film in which the Warlock was played by a different actor, and his name was Bruce Payne. Payne. And Jeremy made the joke because the movies were Bruce painfully bad, and it was like a funny joke, and he was like, we should create a Hall of Payne, because we had the Hall of Fame going on at the same time. And I was like, guys, I am not creating Hall of Payne. I just re-listened to it because I wanted to see where it sparked from, and it was.
Oh yeah, you were strongly against the idea of creating the Hall of Payne.
I know. I was like, no,
we were 100% on board with that. You were complete opposite. But the way we've always done this podcast is majority rules. I mean, Jeremy, you're on board, so you should have been given in a long time ago. These are your own words right now, so now you're just eating your own shit. So, lo and behold, you finally came around, and now we've got the Hall of Payne.
Yeah. So the Hall of Payne will be up by the time this show airs, or right after it, and it will be right under the Hall of Fame, in which the Hall of Fame is anytime we have a film that has a combined rating of 28 plus, it makes the Hall of Fame. This will be kind of the opposite, but not exactly. Moodz, how did we figure out what's going to qualify for the Hall of Payne?
So basically what we came down to, or how we finalized it was, so basically all three of us give a rating for a film. Now, if that rating totals under 9.5, it qualifies for the Hall of Payne.
Now, is that 9.5 and under, or just 9?
9.5 and under. So anything under 9.5 qualifies for the Hall of Payne, and that's all three of our ratings totaled up. So I mean, it's really actually kind of hard to make the Hall of Pame, because it only takes someone
to be really shitty.
It has to be quite shitty. I mean, 3 threes is 9 right there. So, and we've reviewed a shitload of films. I was amazed at how many were only in the Hall of Pame, to be honest. But so that's what it came down to. All three totaled up under 9.5. You qualify for the Hall of Pame.
So our Hall of Pame mascot will, of course, be Bruce Payne. And then we will have the films in there the same way as they are in the Hall of Fame. It'll be the poster and what episode we talked about it on and stuff like that. But the problem with creating the Hall of Pame after you have 53 episodes is that you have to retroactively go back and find out if there have been other films that we've rated that would have qualified. And as far as I know, there were. And as far as I know, these were the ones that have qualified. Now, if I'm wrong, just like with the Hall of Fame, if anybody ever goes back to our archive and hears like, hey, you guys rated this film and it should be in the Hall of Fame, let us know. We'll fucking put it there, These are just the ones that we've tracked. So there are 6 films here that will be our honorary inductees into the Hall of Payne. The first film, and this is going by chronological order of when we talked about the film. So, first up is from episode number 16, the Fangoria Presents episode, and it is Axed. I gave the film a 4 out of 10. Jeremy gave the film a 3 out of 10. Moodz gave the film a 2 out of 10 for a combined rating of 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The second film to be inducted into the Hall of Payne is also from episode 16. It is Entity from 2012 with a rating from me at 2 out of 10, a rating from Jeremy at 2.5 out of 10, and a rating from Moodz 1 out of 10.
So that like has the only time we gave it 1.
Combined rating of 5.5.
Oh man, I hate that.
It's one of the worst.
So bad.
It's one of the worst. So that actually is the lowest rated film in podcast history with a 5.5.
Wow,
combined.
Dude, that's so bad.
From 3 people too. That's like an okay rating if it's from one person, but it's like 3.
Okay, so moving on.
They used the Schenkel ankle too much in that movie.
Yeah. So, actually, moving on to the third film, or the third film being inducted into the Hall of Payne is none other than the film from episode 29, which was part 2 in our Halloween retrospect. Halloween, as Jeremy would say, shit erection from the year 2002. That has a rating from me at 3.5, Jeremy 2, and Moodz also 2 for a combined rating of 7.5.
Good, that fucker deserves it.
Yeah, it's garbage.
Yeah, definitely absolutely garbage. So next up is the film that spawned the Hall of Payne. From episode 33, we have Warlock 3, The End of Innocence from the year 1999. I rated it a 2.5 out of 10. Jeremy rated it a 2 out of 10. And Moodz rated it also a 2.5 out of 10 for a combined rating of 7.
I love this. It's so much fun.
Then we move on to the 5th inductee, and it is from our special Christmas episode of last year, episode number 36. It was Silent Night, Deadly Night 3.
Oh, God.
Better Watch Out
Sucks.
from the year 1989. That film has a rating from me at 3 out of 10. Jeremy, a rating of 2 out of 10. Moodz, a rating of 2.5 out of 10 for a combined rating of 7.5.
God, that movie sucks.
Yeah.
And finally, our newest inductee is from episode number 52, which was the Jaws retrospect. It is Jaws the Revenge, aka Jaws 4 from the year 1987, with a rating from me at 3 out of 10, a rating from Jeremy 2 out of 10, and Moodz coming in at a 3.5 for a combined rating of 8.5.
Ooh, barely makes it.
My
But
3.5 sounded really good.
But coming soon to the Hall of Payne is Witchcraft 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18.
Oh my god.
All coming soon to the Hall of Payne.
We definitely have some shows planned that will probably have some more both Hall of Fame inductees and Hall of Payne inductees, so...
I would say more Hall of Paynes than Hall of Fames.
Yeah, probably. Well, right now, what do we have? 6 and 6? Is it 6 and 6?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, what final thoughts on the Hall of Payne, guys? You finally got me to do it.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea. I mean,
It's awesome.
you can't have a heaven without a hell, right? So
That might be the most, intelligent, poetic thing you've ever said.
oh my god, I might as well kill myself right now. There's no point in living anymore. That's terrible. But I mean, no, it's it makes sense, right? Hall of Fame, Hall of Payne, it just goes hand in hand. It's
We
great.
actually have 7 in the Hall of Fame and only 6 in the Hall of Payne, so...
Yep.
Yeah, interesting. There's 7 in the Hall of Fame?
Yep, The Battery,
Interesting.
Halloween,
Interesting.
Sleep Tight, Rosemary's Baby, Night of the Living Dead, and Jaws.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Jaws. How did I forget about that? We just did that.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, do you find that interesting that we have more in the Hall of Fame than in the Hall of Payne?
A little bit.
I do find that a little interesting, actually.
Well, Moodz, you have to watch The Treatment, and then maybe we'll get into the Hall of Fame. Depending
Yeah,
on
that's
your
true. That's true. That's my next review, actually, is going to be The Treatment. So we'll see. We'll see. What do I need to rate it to get in there?
A 10.
A 10? Yeah, I highly doubt it's going to be a 10 already.
Jeremy gave it a 10.
I gave it a 10. I stand by it.
And so you gave it an 8.5 then?
Yes.
That's okay. That's right. Okay, so wow, interesting.
Watch it get it.
No, but I know for a fact that there's a couple other films in our archives that I think me and JP have rated and Jeremy hasn't, or vice versa. that one of us just needs to rate that could potentially make the Hall of Fame? I know there's a couple because me and JP were talking about this one time.
I know,
and there's a couple films that are rated really high.
Like what?
Elm Street Legacy. Jeremy would need to have an 8 in order for it to make the Hall of Fame.
Shit.
I couldn't imagine that being lower than an 8.
Yeah, I saw that like the first time it came out.
Alice Kills. I think I would need to rate it an 8.5 for it to make the Hall of Fame. Or maybe like a 9. I think it was a 9.
I don't think that will make it.
There was a couple more too. I think The Phantom's Carriage. I need to rate it an 8.
Me and Moodz gave it a 10, right? Yeah.
I think.
We both gave it 10s.
Yeah, but, we let this happen naturally. Meaning that, like, if I happen to watch The Phantom's Carriage next week or,
Well, you should, because that movie's my favorite film of all time, man. That movie's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, The Phantom Carriage, totally.
It's my favorite film.
Because we
fucking
both
awesome.
have 10s on that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's... I can't imagine you going lower than 8. Oh, I don't know.
So there are some films that...
But then again, you do like, the Fright Night remake, so I don't think I can understand you fully. It just makes no sense to me.
I like good movies, dude.
Oh, come on. Fucking McLovin.
I saw that in the theaters and in 3D.
Ugh.
Oh, yeah.
God. How are you still living?
I don't know.
Like, wow. That's impressive. You got a lot of, willpower, man. It's crazy.
I made too much
money. I don't know if I'd be able to
this.
continue living after watching that in 3D.
Made too much money off the Schenkel angle.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that's going to conclude knowledge. Moving on to the Coroner's Report of Weird Stats and Morbid Facts, courtesy of Rue Morgue magazine. This one is coming from the issue number 125 of August 2012. So this is exactly 3 years old. Interesting. Yeah, so for this one right here, it was kind of interesting because I actually didn't know this, but it's a film I've watched many times, but the courtroom dialogue in hijinks featured in Cannibal the Musical are based on actual trial transcripts from the prosecution of real-life cannibal Alfred Packer, on whom the film is based. So basically the songs that were written were just taken right from the transcripts. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty cool. But I mean, that's so Trey Parker to do something like that, right?
Because they're awesome.
Pretty interesting. Pretty awesome stuff, yeah. Yeah. Alrighty, so that is going to conclude Moodz Swingz. And yeah. So moving on to the what we watch portion of the show. We all know what that is. It's just where we talk about films and review them. So who wants to go first, guys?
Jeremy.
What'd y'all watch this week?
Nope.
What'd y'all watch this week?
Nope.
I went first last show. Jeremy, your turn.
All right. You know what movie I'm going to review. Everybody knows I shall be reviewing Ghost Town from the year 1988. Brought to you by our good friends Charlie Band and Scream Factory. So Ghost Town, yes, the film I have been waiting a long fucking time to get a release. Because this is a film I tried to hunt down on Laserdisc for a very fucking long time. And it's really, really expensive and hard to get. And I didn't feel like spending $50 on a Laserdisc. Because for one, it's not in true full screen. And two, I just really didn't want to spend the money on it. So when Scream Factory finally announced it, I was fucking so excited. So, this movie, I think it sold really well. Me and JP were talking about this. I think it sold really, really well. But I know people were bitching about how there was no features or anything on the release. And, you could either have one or the other. You bitch that you don't have the release, and then you get the release, and you still bitch that there's no features on it. Well, are you going to want the release, or do you want nothing at all? And I think it was kind of the same thing with Dog Soldiers last month, that people were bitching about the transfer. It's like, do you want the movie, or do you want nothing at all? So all the haters out there, fuck you, stop bitching. You got Ghost Town. You should just at least be happy that you got the movie and an actual release for once.
Word.
It's funny, man. You sound like me on my last update when I gave it to people about bitching about the Dog Soldiers transfer.
Yeah.
I just told people to shut the fuck up, stop bitching, and fucking just be glad that you have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus it's approved, so.
So Ghost Town. I know Moodz watches too. It's a really, really fun Western horror film. There's not too many Western horror films, the Burrs and some other ones, but this one is probably one of the most, I would say, well-known Western horror films. So we basically follow a sheriff who gets assigned this case to go find this woman who car was found in the middle of the desert, abandoned and all scratched up. And he's traveling and he comes across this grave with this dead sheriff in it who used to be the sheriff of this town in the 1870s. And he's resurrected and he's told that he has to kill this gunslinger corpse or this gunslinger spirit who's possessed by a demon. So he goes to this ghost town and, there's all these ghosts and spirits, chilling in 1870s attire and all that kind of stuff. And he is basically trying to kill this spirit that's possessed by this demon. And that's basically it. And it's really, really interesting and fun. And you know what you're going to get with that kind of narrative. And like I said, it really feels like a long Tales from the Crypt episode. It just has that type of feel to it that it would be on Tales from the Crypt if it was a little bit shorter. And if you guys get a chance, pick it up. I think it did really well. So hopefully Scream Factory, releases some more of these obscure horror films. 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, man, this movie actually really surprised me. The quality of it, I was expecting it to be a lot more low budget when I first popped it in, and I was like, okay. Something is really interesting. So when I first started watching Ghost Town, I was listening to fucking music in it. I was like,
the music.
I've heard this before. I was like, I've totally heard this before, and I could not place it. So I quickly did a Google search, and I was like, Ghost Town music, blah, blah. It comes up. It's the fucking score or the music from Ghoulies 2. Because Charles Band produced both these movies. Yeah. So instead of, going out and, because he's a cheap motherfucker.
Was that a Richard Band score?
Probably. But anyways, he just rehashed the music from Ghoulies 2 and Ghost Town. I was like, that's where I fucking heard it before.
Typical Charlie Band.
Totally. So funny. But it works, though. It's kind of cool. For two completely different type of films. It's pretty interesting.
Harvey R. Cohen.
Is that who did it? Oh, yeah. But anyways, he owns the rights to the music, so he's like, whatever. Fuck.
Yeah. And it's written by the same guy who directed Crawl Space, so if you're familiar with Crawl Space,
Which was also an Empire film, I believe.
Yeah, Crawl Space.
I really wish they would make more films like this. I'm surprised it hasn't become a bigger thing, like horror Western films.
Westerns
I think they work so well.
Westerns are kind of dead.
Yeah.
But I mean...
Well, me and Moodz have said for a long time that we love Western horror.
I know, and it's just, I guess that's probably why not a lot of them get made. Plus, it's also the setting, too. They're probably a little more high budget than you think they can be.
Yeah.
Because you have to have those costumes. There's a lot of, look to it, so, yeah. I can see why they don't get made.
I've seen this film before, but it's been 2 decades, probably. Like 20 years since I've last seen this. I used to have it on a VHS with Elm Street 4. Like a recorded, off the TV type VHS.
Nice.
But it wasn't off the TV. It was, like a transfer. And I used to always shut it off when it would get to Ghost Town because, like, I wasn't into that as a kid. Like, I would always watch Elm Street and then, like, the first 15 minutes of Ghost Town. And eventually I did end up watching the full Ghost Town and I liked it and stuff.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen it since then, so, I mean, it's
a good movie. It's different.
And you gave it, what, 7.5?
Yeah.
What about you, Moodz?
Cool.
What would you give it?
That's exactly what my rating was.
Yeah.
I think I even wrote it on the Facebook page. I was like, I give it 7.5. That's interesting.
It's a movie definitely for its time that I've never been seen before. We've seen it a little bit more today, but I think back then, can't really think of many movies from 88 that was Western horror.
Yeah, there really wasn't prior to that, yeah.
Yeah, but that's like, a lot of those Empire films are about 7.5, 8. Like, I mean, From Beyond's like an 8 to me, and Ghoulies 2 is like a 7.5. Like,
I give like Crawl Space an 8. That movie's fucking good.
I mean, that there's not really many more of those Empire. Ghost Town was like the last one, really.
My good friend Klaus Kinsinski.
Kinsinski?
Yeah, but Ghost Town was like the last big Empire to not have an official like release, like good release. I mean, like Rawhead Rex is technically an Empire, and there's a few other ones that I know the rights have shifted to other people.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that movie got a re-release.
Yeah, I heard the rights are all jacked up with that one though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
So I guess it's my turn, huh?
I guess
Go ahead.
So I'm going to review Hospital Massacre, aka X-Ray, from the year 1981, in honor of Madman being our slasher tonight. Hospital Massacre follows a woman living in LA who needs to go get a checkup because she has a new job. So I guess it's like kind of a physical. She goes in to receive a routine checkup, and they kind of won't let her leave because her files got switched around or something. And also there is a maniac dressed in a doctor's surgical mask and clothing that is going on a killing spree, murdering all the staff, hiding their bodies. And you might think that it has something to do with Susan's friend being killed on Valentine's Day 19 years earlier. So this film, I like it. It's a good, fun slasher film. Like I love, slasher genre. I love the setting in this one. It was filmed in an abandoned hospital. The director says in the interview on the disc, and it has that atmosphere, that hospital atmosphere, which I just love. Like I love that atmosphere. Halloween 2 has that atmosphere. Hellraiser 2 has that atmosphere. And there's just something about it that you get from being in the hospital, like when you're there at night and it's creepy and dark. But in horror movies, hospitals are very dark, like retardedly dark. Like doesn't make sense plot.
Come on now, why do you have to drop the R word?
What's wrong with the R word?
Just busting your balls.
Okay, so the hospitals are really, really dark. And there's I think that the biggest problem with this film for me personally is just the insane amount of plot holes. Like there's nothing makes sense. Like all this stuff that's happening does not make sense. Like the idea that her boyfriend shows up and he's like, I'm taking you out of here, and I don't care what they say. And then, the doctors are like, you can't do that. And he's like, oh, I guess I'll just have a seat in the lobby then. And she's being pulled away screaming. And it's like, oh, see you later. And the doctors are making no sense. Like the stuff that they're doing makes no sense. It's like, it's almost like they're in on it, but they're clearly not in on it. So it's like weird. And the killer is kind of lame, but you know what? There's some, not really okay kills. A lot of them are off screen and stuff, but there's some stuff there. But it's really the atmosphere. It's just a little tiny slasher set in a hospital that's pretty fun. It's pretty damn fun, actually. I really enjoyed this one, though it's not a good movie. It's definitely not a good movie. And I give it about a 6 out of 10. And the ending was stupid. I mean, you kind of think oh, maybe they're going to do something like a twist or something, but it's like the setup is the ending. It's stupid.
I mean, the killer, the look of the killer in the film is totally what it is. I mean, you really wouldn't expect anything less, though.
Mm-hmm. I have
it works. It definitely works because it's real. It's possible. It's practical. It's something.
Well, because he's also dressed like that so he can fit in too, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it makes sense.
So it makes sense. Did I say that the killer sucks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mean his look. I just meant the killer, like the reason that it happened and stuff. It's so cliche, you know what I mean? The suit is fine because it's it makes sense. It's practical. It's not a stupid bowling bag on his head. It makes sense,
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean it's riddled with plot holes. I did there's one scene when a killer grabs the lead protagonist who has boobs, by the way. We get to see those quite a bit. But he grabs the lead protagonist, and in most movies she's reaching for a knife and she can barely reach it, and then finally she grabs it and stabs him. They do a scene like that in this, but it's with she lights a lighter and lights him on fire, and it really didn't it didn't seem like he would burst into flames like that. But it has many plot holes, but it's fun, and that's what counts for me. It is a bad movie. I give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree with the atmosphere in that film. It's actually pretty well done. A lot of cool scenes, kind of low lit and kind of creepy, and I got to say the lead in that movie, hot, man. Get to see your boobs too.
A lot.
Kind of cool.
You get to see him for a long time, which didn't make sense either.
They just totally threw that. I mean, it's a slasher film. We need boobs.
Yeah, it's boobs for sure.
Just got to put it in there, right? So yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I have no idea what I rated that film. I'm pretty sure
that
I
was supposed
reviewed
to get released by Scream Factory, but it didn't.
No, it got
released by Scream. Yeah.
What was the movie that was supposed to get the hospital movie that was supposed to get released by Scream Factory? But
You're thinking of the women in prison movie or the?
No, he's thinking of fuck, what's it called? Hell something.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the fuck it's called. I've never actually seen it before. All right, so
Halcinoid, something annoyed.
No, you're thinking of Schizoid or
Schizoid's paired up with X.
But what was that one
with X-ray
Fulci movie that was supposed to be in the 4-pack?
Oh, they had it under a different title, but what the fuck title did they have? Shit, I can't remember.
I'll figure it out.
It's like
Woman
Schizoid.
in Lizard Skin.
Schizoid,
A Woman in Lizard Skin. A Woman in Lizard Skin. Oh, maybe that's what the title that they're using, but that's the title I have it under. Shriek Show released it under that. So, alrighty. So for the first film I'm going to review tonight is one from 1968, and this is one I really, really wish I had seen it before we did our 1968 top 10 show, because it would have definitely made in my top 10, and it might have made pretty high actually. This one right here is recently been released by Kino on Blu-ray, and it is called The Crimson Cult. If you look on IMDb, it's under The Curse of Crimson Altar. It's starring Boris Karloff, Christopher Lee. So you got some classic. So you got some classic actors in there, and right there, it's gonna potentially be very, very good. And
Karloff.
Of course, it's got
Fuck you,
Karloff and Christopher Lee. And actually, the witch in this film is played by Barbara Steele, which I love Barbara Steele with a passion. I think she's fantastic. I'm probably just going to read the storyline off here because just to describe this one might take a little bit, and this kind of breaks it down. When his brother disappears, Robert Manning pays a visit to a remote country house he was last heard from. While his host is awkwardly welcoming, and the host being Christopher Lee, and his niece more demonstrably so, Manny detects a feeling of menace in the air with the legend of Lavina Morley, Black Witch of Greymarsh, hanging over everything. So basically, this movie is kind of an interpretation of H.P. Lovecraft's Dreams in the Witch House. And of course, we covered, an episode of that on Masters of Horror, and I believe that was directed by Stuart Gordon, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, so this is like, obviously from 1968, and that's a different version. But yeah, this is the version of that story, Dreams in the Witch House. So my thoughts on this one, it's kind of interesting when you grab this Blu-ray, the cover has very beautiful art on it. If you turn it around, the screenshots are in black and white. And of course, I'd never seen this film before, so I was assuming this movie was in black and white when I popped it in. No, it's actually in color. So Kino does things very odd. They put their screenshots in black and white, so don't let that fool you. So anyways, I pop in the movie. First off, the transfer on this thing, beautiful. Kino did an amazing job with this one. It's very, very colorful. It's kind of like, like a 60s Italian film. It looks like that. It's got so much vibrant colors, reds and everything. But yeah, so, the story in this film, yeah, basically Buddy's looking for his brother who's gone missing. He goes to this remote country house where he's last heard from, and of course he starts feeling kind of weird there because they're over-welcoming to him. And when he goes to sleep at night, he has like these crazy, crazy, weird fucking dreams, and he can't really defer, reality from dreams and stuff because things are kind of happening to him that he can't explain. So, the storyline's pretty interesting. I love Boris Karloff's character in this film because he plays kind of like the small town professor. He's like an expert on witchcraft. Of course, he is in the small town, and he knows all these local legends and stuff. So they go to Boris Karloff. He keeps going to him for advice and stuff. And Boris Karloff is just amazing in his delivery in this film. He's fantastic. He plays someone who's in a wheelchair and stuff, and the way he delivers all his lines.
A Man They Could Not Hang with Boris Karloff.
No, I don't think I have seen that movie.
You have to check it out. It's fucking awesome.
Nice. But yeah, I just like the way this whole kind of movie develops, him having all these crazy dreams, and he's going to Karloff, and he's just kind of paranoid about everything, and everyone delivers great performances. Christopher Lee's fantastic. I think all the kind of dream sequences with Barbara Steele as the witch and stuff are really kind of well executed, and it has this very kind of 60s psychedelic look to it. Like when, obviously go into a dream state, and it gets very psychedelic. It's got like these kind of really almost cheesy 60s effects, but they really do work for what it is because they're in dream sequences. Oh, the colors are popping. It's just amazing visuals. It's really well done.
Man, I can't believe
it's
that.
Great performances too, which really make up this film. Like I said, the storyline's kind of basic and stuff, but it all kind of comes together at the end and stuff. Really well executed. I love this movie. Highly recommend it, man. I mean, if you're a fan of any of these actors, you just got to check it out. But I was just amazed at how beautiful this movie looked, because it instantly reminded me of, like a Mario Bava film or, an Argento film, just based on the way they utilized the colors in this. They obviously, did some really well transferring with the colors and stuff, but I can't recommend this one enough. I mean, if you guys have seen the episode Dreams in the Witch House, Masters of Horror episode, this one's very not like that at all. It's kind of different. It has the dream sequences and stuff, but it's so much different. I don't really know what else to say. I don't want to give anything away about it, but very interesting film, and I highly, highly recommend it. So I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, you know what? That is one that I do remember watching about half of, and
really?
That's why I didn't include it, or wasn't able to, because I didn't, see the full movie, obviously. But I do remember thinking, like, this is one that I probably would have on my list, and I believe I might have even said that it's one that you would probably have on your list.
Yeah, I just love how simple the setup is, but Christopher Lee is he's so perfect, and all the roles are so great in this, man. It's just, it's one of those movies I'm definitely going to revisit, man, soon. I loved it. It was awesome. Great film.
Yeah, that's the case with a few other titles I think would be on your top 10 if you had seen them. Like some of the ones that I seen that you wasn't able to see.
All right, so moving along into segments this week. Are we actually doing segments this week, or do we have picks of the week, or what's the story here? What does everyone got here?
Got segment.
It's all
you got
segments.
a segment? Okay, It's just segments. And Jeremy,
All
lead
right.
us off.
Do a Jeremy's midnight movie this week. Oh yeah. And oh boy, this time I'm gonna be talking about one that isn't very good, folks. That's pretty much complete garbage, besides the ending, which barely saves the film. And that is a movie called Inner Demons from the year 2015. Like I said, released by IFC Midnight. Okay, this movie, oh god, it's bad. The acting is absolutely atrocious. So we follow this intervention type TV show. Of course, it's found footage. So we're following this intervention type TV show, and they're doing an intervention on this girl who all of a sudden has become goth, and she wears, dark eyeliner and all that kind of goth stuff. And she became addicted to heroin. And of course, they're just giving her an intervention and all that stuff for 20 minutes. That's absolutely pointless. It makes no point to the narrative. We just learn that she's a drug addict and that something iffy's going on, and that's why she's using drugs. It really has no purpose, and it feels like I'm watching fucking Intervention on A&E, and it doesn't actually feel like a horror movie because all we're watching is an episode of Intervention. So when she gets to the rehab center, that's when stuff starts to pick up with there's some inner demon inside of her that she blocks out by using heroin. And I found that interesting. I haven't really seen that somebody uses hard drugs to try and block out a demon inside of them. That was interesting. I have to give them credit with that I haven't really seen anybody using drugs to do that. So that was interesting. So she gets to rehab. She starts to do weird things because she's not on the drugs anymore, and the demon starts coming out and doing all the regular stupid shit that we see in all these possession films, while at the same time have incredibly terrible acting from everybody that's in the film. Oh my god, it's so over the top and bad. You know me with acting. I can't tolerate shit acting. I can tolerate some low budget stuff, but if the acting's shitty, I can't tolerate that. And this movie definitely has really, really bad acting. Not so much of the main actress. She's okay. She's definitely probably the best person in the film, best actress in the film. But the girl's parents are absolutely atrociously bad. And they put Bloody Homecoming's acting to shame. So that should say something. Just his mother and father are just absolutely horrendously bad. So as the film goes on, we get to the ending. The ending is probably the best part of the film. The twist is really, really interesting. and pretty good ones against things that I haven't seen before. So I have to give them credit on that they did a few things that I haven't really seen before. But besides that, it just feels like I'm watching a long episode of Intervention with a procession subplot intertwined with it, and it's just really boring and not good. So don't buy this one, but if you guys want to rent it, I guess do that, just simply for the ending. 2.5 out of 10.
2.5. Damn.
Holy fuck balls.
It sucks.
That's crazy.
Wow. So,
I was just expecting it to be a little higher when you said 2.5. It's caught me off guard. Crazy.
Yeah, 1 point for the ending and 1 point for the interesting idea that they block drugs out, and half a point for all the other jumble shit.
all the other, like,
Passable
centimeter
stuff.
of okayness
Yeah.
that happens.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Rough one. All right.
Right.
So,
Like every other possession film.
there's some good ones out there.
Yeah, there's some good ones. Asmodexia. Highly recommend that one.
All right, so getting into my segment this week, it actually is going to be another closer look at. This is where I take a film and review not only the film itself, but the special features as well. So the film I'm going to be reviewing is Cockneys vs. Zombies from the year 2012. Now, I did review this on Body Bags, but after watching the special features, I thought it was important that I re-reviewed it. So this film follows a group of kind of tough, not so tough, some of them are tough, criminals who are in South London, or East London, I don't know, East London, I think, and they want to rob a bank. But they're not just robbing the bank for, their personal gain. They're doing it for their grandparents' retirement home, because it is being took over by developers as they are, having construction workers building stuff in the town. They unleash a little crypt of zombie things that were in there for a long time, and then the virus quickly spreads, and as the bank robbery is going on, also the zombie apocalypse is happening. So upon escaping the bank, the world has been turned into a smoldering zombie apocalypse. And comedy ensues. That's kind of your thing. They're trying to get back to the old age home to rescue their grandparents. Now, I was very critical on this one because I hate comedies like this. I really just don't like them that much. This, to me, honestly, this is exactly Shaun of the Dead, in my opinion, in terms of, the type of comedy. It might be different in certain aspects with, stuff like Moodz said with characters, that's what he likes about it so much, but the humor is, right the same kind, and I don't like that kind of humor typically.
Well, it's probably because it's, British humor, right? So It seems like it's all the same, but I don't know. Whatever.
But it's even, I don't mean, the British part of it. I mean, the type of humor where you have one character who is walking with a walker, and then there's zombies chasing her, and it's funny because she is moving as slow as the zombies. That's the same kind of humor that's in Shaun of the Dead. That's what I mean by, the type of humor, the type of joke that it is.
Well, that's where I argued it's execution, though, too. It's just, it's the situation and the execution that's just more fun than Shaun of the Dead in my opinion. So...
Okay, so I'm not going to sit here and, completely compare it to Shaun of the Dead. It is its own movie and stuff, but for one, just the amount of just, it is all comedy. It's all comedy. There's not really any horror in there at all, and it's supposed to be like that. I'm well aware of that. It's just something that I don't like. However, I am going to go back on my original review because it actually is a better movie than I was giving it credit for. And I really the special features really pointed that out to me, because as two commentaries on the disc, one by the writer and one by the director, separate commentaries, and both of them are very good. Both of them, the first one with the director really just gushes on how he made a movie and his thought process and how his ideas and reasons that he did things. And it really did kind of open my eyes to some stuff that I had missed. like why some of the jokes were set up well and stuff like that. And then there's also one with the writer who also goes into why he wrote everything the way that it was. And I felt like both of those commentaries really, really, really explained like every setup and everything to the film. And a lot of it I didn't realize, like I guess, like, you know, the metal plate zombie was kind of creative because it's a zombie that you can't shoot in the head because it has a metal plate in its head. Like, yeah, that's cool. That's interesting. That's new. Something that I haven't thought of. You know, just to me, it's really just not my cup of tea. Like, I just don't like these comedy movies like this that are over the top, ridiculous, you know, comedy movies. It's just not my thing, most of the time. But it is a good, well-made movie. I will be honest. I don't like it, but it's well-made, and it is well-made in comedy as well, because some of the stuff is creatively thought out. So I kind of will reverse my statement on the film a little bit. I still am not the biggest fan of it, but it definitely is a good movie, and I up my rating from a 5.5 to a 7.
Interesting.
There's also a bunch of deleted scenes on there, which are also very well explained on why they are not in the movie. And there's also behind the scenes that is about 29 minutes long, and it's like a legit behind the scenes, like action, you know, cut, you know, just all that shit. It's like watching them make the film, and a trailer. So good. Honestly, I was super surprised by the special features. They're all really good for a film that I did not really care for. Really kind of opened my eyes to it. Like the mustache thing, like they're all wearing mustaches, and you know, I got the joke, right? Because they look ridiculous. But there were some moments where I was like, oh, I didn't get that part of the joke. Like one dude rips his mustache off, and his real mustache under it is thicker than the one that was on his face. So that is kind of funny, right? But I didn't notice that in the movie. I just was like, oh, the joke is the ridiculous looking mustaches. But then when he takes it off, it's thicker, his real one. So like there is really funny stuff in there that I failed to notice the first time. So I do give this film props for me being an idiot and not picking up some of the jokes.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the film, but I know. I didn't really think that you're going to care too much for it, considering how much you've always stated that you're not a big fan of those comedy horror films.
It really is the zombie ones too that really just get under my skin. Like, cause I think that like zombies, I don't like the zombie being the joke. Like where they're looking at it like, oh look, it's a zombie, it's coming after us, you know, and then they like trip it or something. Like to me, it's just like I don't like when they do that. It just rubs me the wrong way.
Cool.
I'm a weirdo.
All right. I mean, yeah, we're all quirky in some way. All right, so for my segment this week, my Italian Stallion. This one is going back to 1974, recently released by Scorpion, directed by Umberto Lenzi, who I'm a huge fan of, and it is called Spasmo. This one basically it's a giallo, is essentially what it is. Of course, starring Susie Kendall, who was in Bird with the Crystal Plumage, which is a fantastic giallo by Argento, as we all know.
His first.
Yeah, fantastic film. So basically, these films are really hard to review because you don't want to give certain elements of the film away. So I'll just kind of give a brief synopsis of it. Basically, in the beginning of the film, you got your main character, Christian, played by Robert Hoffman. He's at the beach with his girlfriend. They're just, you know, looking around, and his girlfriend notices that there's like a dead body on the beach. So they go over there and investigate. Upon further investigation, this girl, they find out that she's not dead. She's just basically passed out on the beach. And now Robert kind of gets infatuated with her like right away. He's like, man, it's just so strange, and she's so beautiful and stuff. And of course, this is Susie Kendall's character, which is, her name's Barbara in the film. So he kind of comes infatuated with her. Anyways, he ends up meeting up with her through circumstances and stuff at this yacht party like the next day, and he kind of basically ditches his girlfriend and falls in love with Barbara, Susie Kendall. Anyways, so later that night they go back to a hotel room, and something like really fucking strange happens. They're getting ready for bed, or gonna jump in the sack or whatnot, And some dude like randomly breaks into the hotel room and kind of starts a fight with him and stuff. Anyways, Christian grabs the gun. He ends up shooting the intruder and killing him, which they kind of thought that he was dead. Anyways, so he's kind of like all freaking out and stuff. And you learn very early in the film that Christian's character, he's kind of like, he potentially is very kind of mentally unstable, and he doesn't really, he's just kind of escaping life right now, and he's not really stable and stuff. Anyways, they check out of there upon further investigation, because now they're freaking out about this body. They go back and the body's gone. And now he's like completely lost his mind. He's like, did this really happen? Did this not happen? Why is this body not here? He was bleeding, blah, blah, blah. So they basically flee, and it just sets off a whole string of crazy events that start happening to these two. And the whole time in the film, you're basically just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. Like, why is all this crazy shit happening to Christian? And, and that's basically synopsis of your film. So this one essentially is it's not your typical giallo. It's actually kind of a trippy, almost psychedelic, weird giallo. And it keeps you guessing throughout the entire film, because, that's what these giallo films should really do. It's good. It's really, really interestingly executed. Umberto Lenzi kind of jumps ship all over the place in this film, and he really keeps you guessing. He introduces Christian's brother and stuff like in the film, and you're kind of wondering what the hell his connection might be with all this, or if there is even a connection and stuff, because he actually works for his brother. And so there's a whole pile of just randomness that's going on in this film. It just seems like Christian's having the worst day ever, with all this shit that keeps happening to him. But very, very well executed. I love the cinematography in this film was actually really good by Umberto Lenzi. He did a great job. It does have some pretty, at times, kind of funny dialogue, but I guess that's kind of, expected in Italian films every once in a while. Kind of makes you laugh, but I thought the effects in it were really well done. Cinematography, fantastic. The score is just fantastic in this film. I have to mention how good the music is. But I have to say, it's an oddball film. It really is an oddball film because of all the jumping around that he does. If you're not paying attention, you might kind of miss something or think you missed something. But I will say it comes together in the end, and it's not an ambiguous ending by any chance or stretch the imagination. It is what it is, and it all kind of comes around, and it really does make the film. I think Susie Kendall does a great job in this film. She's fantastic, and there's not really a whole lot more you can really say about the movie without giving anything away, which I won't. So with that said, I'm going to give this one a really, really high recommendation, because I think it's just such an underrated film. Like, it's one I've never really heard people talk about as, being a top giallo film, or even like a really great Italian film in general. And this one did have a DVD release before, which I'm really even more surprised it never got talked about. So I'm going to give this one 9.5 out of 10. I think everybody should see this film. It's really good. It's really, really good. It's got a lot of trippy things happening in it. There's, I just don't want to give anything away, but there's weird shit with mannequins and just weird shit that's going on. It's fucking cool. It's a really cool, very cool, well-made film by Umberto Lenzi. Spasmo, everyone check it out. And the transfer, amazing. And the cool thing about this film, actually, it comes with, the English version and the Italian version, and it comes with two more versions. It says the unedited, I don't know. There's 4 versions of the film on here, which is really cool. So I actually watched it in Italian with English subtitles, and I realized I think that he actually filmed this film. Well, and I think that they actually filmed this one in English.
Oh, yeah.
So when I was watching, I watched in Italian, so it was like a dub, right? Watching the whole time, that seems like they're actually talking English. So then I finished the movie and I was like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure that they filmed this one in English.
That's
so
funny.
I started watching English and I go, fuck, they are talking English. So I read the goddamn movie and I didn't even really have to. But no, it was funny. And I actually watched about the first half an hour in English, and I was comparing the dialogue, the translation from, the English with it was fucking funny, man. There was actually different lines and stuff. It was kind of funny, actually. So I had a good chuckle about that, but I recommend Spasmo. Everybody grab this film. It's awesome.
Was that a 9.5?
Yeah. Awesome film. Shit. Awesome. It was just a huge surprise for me. I wasn't expecting it to be that interesting and guessing. I had no idea what the fuck was going on. I mean, because you're not really supposed to, right? That's the whole point of the film. And then it just all comes together, and you're just like, God damn it! Of course.
Dude,
So
it
had me going.
Does sound interesting to me.
It was fun, man. It was such a good film, such a cool film.
All right.
So yeah, that is going to conclude what we watched for this week, and moving along into the featured review of the week. Of course, was picked by yours truly, Jeremy, and we discussed why it was picked. Summertime slasher.
I don't think
for
that's why he picked it. It just was coincidence.
Yeah, well, we'll give him a little more credit then. Come on. We never give him credit, so we'll give him credit this time. Yeah.
Fuck you!
So this one right here originally was supposed to come out in 1981. It actually came out, I believe, New Year's Day of 1982. So, this one is basically a 1981 horror film. But came out in 1982, technically. And, of course, we're talking about Madman.
Many strange things happen around here. He was a farmer, wife and 2 children. We used to live in that old house behind those trees. For no apparent reason, we'd stark, raving mad. He walked into his bedroom. The bodies of his wife and children have never been found. And if he hears you call his name, he'll come for you.
Come and get us, Madman!
Infamous Madman. Of course, this isn't the first time this movie's had a release. It had an Anchor Bay DVD release back in the day. Code Red re-released it, and now it's being released by Vinegar Syndrome. And of course, we talked about it in a 4K transfer, which the transfer is good.
It's good. It has some problems.
No, well, the scratches that are on there, that's in every transfer.
Yeah.
If you watch the Anchor Bay DVD, if you watch a Code Red, it's because they all use the original negatives and they're damaged in those spots.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. It's a good transfer.
Yeah, you're not going to really fix those scratches.
You can't. They actually said you can't. It's just the way it is.
I'm saying it's like amazing.
There's a lot of scenes in this film, like in the woods and stuff, that look great.
The lighting, the scenes with the lighting, with the man tracking shot behind them, that looks really good.
Yeah, really good.
Really
they did a good job. Definitely the best transfer of all the editions that I have. So which is expected. So.
Plot.
Do we want to get into the plot of this one?
JP.
At a summer camp for youths, cocky preteens calls out the name of mass serial killer Madman Moores. Suddenly, counselors are being maimed and slaughtered in various ways by the backwoodsman who has returned when his name was called. So basically, we have a group of people sitting around the campfire saying,
totally uninteresting.
I'm gonna give it to you guys straight about Madman Moores, And they tell a story of a farmer who goes nuts, slaughters his wife, then goes in, slaughters his son, then goes into the other room and slaughters his daughter. The townspeople capture him, hang him up, stick an axe in the side of his face, and leave him to die.
Yeah.
Then,
upon returning, to hang him up.
Yeah, he was hanged by a noose. Upon returning, he was gone, the rope was cut, and he was never heard from again. But legend has it that if you say Madman Moores' name in the woods, anything higher than a whisper, he will return. And then he does.
No, he will return and kill you. He will kill you. Why the fuck did the janitor die? He never said Madman Moores. Why the fuck did he die?
Well, they didn't say that he wouldn't kill anybody else. They just said he's going to kill you.
I swore. Yeah,
technically not everyone said Madman's name in the film that died.
Yeah.
Really.
Are you sure?
So,
listen,
I'm pretty sure.
Listen, dude.
I'm pretty sure.
But they never said that he wouldn't kill other people. He was talking to that
true.
person, so he said he'll kill you if you say it.
That is true.
But they never said that he wouldn't kill anybody else.
Okay, going right from the start of this film, I actually really like the way the opening credits are in this. It feels so comic booky.
I said it felt. I wrote down that it felt like a German expressionist film.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, but I just like the way they do it because they just kind of scroll and there's just the Madman Mars theme song playing. I like that, man. I think it's kind of interesting how they did the credits. There's no scenes there. It's just these scrolling credits. I actually really enjoyed that. I think it's kind of cool.
Very
I've always
German
liked
expressionist, man.
Yeah.
Have you seen Caligari?
That is true. True. I just didn't think of the German expression. It just felt comic booky to me right at first.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I think it's more the song because it just sounds kind of campfirey, goofy. I don't know. There's something about that song, but it's catchy as shit though.
Yeah.
Well,
it really is. That's one thing about this movie I love is the synth music or the synth score and the song. So at least they got a little creative with that. But I have to say, man, I'm a really big fan of the campfire story setup. I mean, it works so fucking good in the fog. It works, the SPAC story is fun in this, and let's just give it that. Anyways,
okay. Before we move on too much, can I comment on a couple of things that you just went through? One,
yeah.
You said that you thought it was like comic book style, or you got that feel. Jeremy said it's German expressionism. It's funny because I actually got a different feel than both of those. So like that's interesting that all three of us had like a different feel. I had like a cartoon, like a old like old, like pre-50s cartoon vibe to it. And,
yeah, I can see that.
And I like that. Also,
yeah, I can see that.
The Madman Mars song, fucking love that song, dude. It adds so much to like the low quality slasher. Because so many slashers, there's so many, right? Especially 81, 82. That really kind of gives it like a little bit more like polish than your typical slasher.
Mm-hmm. Now, like I said, man, the beginning 20 minutes of this film are good. It's good. Like, I mean, like, you always have to come up with some backstory. The backstory is not the greatest, but it's interesting enough. And it is what it is. It's a campfire story. They're not supposed to be giallos,
Well, I love this. The campfire setup is one. I've seen it so many times, but this one was a little bit different in the way they did it. And I was like, okay, this is cool that I can see the campfire setup again and it be slightly different.
And I haven't seen like a campfire at like winter time. You could tell it was fucking cold. You could like see their breath and everything. And I haven't like seen like a summer camp movie during the winter time.
Because they set this one a week before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And that's U.S. Thanksgiving, so that's like November. So that's really fucking late in the year. Yeah, pretty cold. But I actually kind of liked how they did it because there was a story being told by another camp counselor, right? And they were actually kind of showing clips from that story.
TP,
right? I thought that was kind of cool, man. He's like telling the story, and also his body's being dragged, and then the camp leader tells his Madman Mara story. I thought that was kind of cool.
Which was told really well. That was well written.
I think
it was well written, and I think sorry to cut you off, but I really think the guy that they chose as the camp leader to tell the story did a good job with it.
Yeah,
like he's actually cool. Like the way he delivers the story, like it's captivating. Like I would sit there and listen to that guy all night. Mm-hmm. I think it was a good choice. I was gonna
say, I think the scenes that are intertwined with TP's story is the kills of Madman during the film, so it kind of ruins some of the kills. Because don't we see the same scene when he's dragging the feet later on in the film, and it's the same pan, so you kind of know.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I think it might be. I never really put two and two together, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I know what you're saying though.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
That guy was fuck. These characters. I think after the campfire, it starts to go.
Well, okay. So basically, yeah, the first like 20-25 minutes of the film is obviously the best part of the film. Yeah, see, the problem with this movie is that there's absolutely no character development in this film, so you don't care about any of these characters.
So uninteresting.
All these characters. One thing I've always noticed about this film that's so strange is not the fact that there's no character development at all. So, like, all you know is that they're camp counselors, and that's it. You don't know shit about them, so you don't really care about any of these characters, to be honest. One thing I noticed about this movie it's always kind of interesting. I mean, the cast is so plain looking. Mm-hmm. There's no one that sticks out. There's not that, that real good looking guy or that real hot girl.
The only one that sticks out is the blonde because she's blonde.
Exactly, but she's not even that great looking. And I just find it so interesting that the cast is so plain and, not developed, and it kind of
there's no arcs at all for any of their
nothing, man. And okay, this whole movie, just to sum it up in a nutshell, is basically people looking for people.
Yeah.
But that's all it is. One person goes out, and then the next person gows out to find that. And then
the next person goes out.
It's very, very repetitive, and it's predictable.
And there's
essentially.
And all those people going out, there's only one good kill in like the 4 people that go out, 1 out of the 4 are good kills, and the rest.
This movie actually doesn't
the kills, man.
It doesn't really have that big of a body count. I mean, in the first 7 minutes of the film, there's already been 4 people killed.
Yeah.
Right. There's only 10 kills total, and that's including the 3 that are in the Madman Mars story.
Yeah. So, and 1 is good.
Mm-hmm.
I like the kills of this story. That was kind of brutal seeing.
Yeah, those are okay, but about like the camp counselors, the only good one is the car one.
What about
which is actually funny that you bring that up too, because that kill's fucked up.
What about the meat hook?
Film.
That's stupid. You've seen that before.
I love the meat hook kill.
It's okay.
I think the car kill is pretty original. I haven't seen that before.
But and it's original, but it's a goof in the film though, because when she goes into the hood, she's face down, and then. Spoiler.
Oh yeah,
I guess.
she would break her back, not her head.
So he fucking decapitates her, and her face would be in the engine. They open it up later, and her fucking face is.
Well, how do you know he didn't move the head around? He does move bodies.
For fuck's sake, JP, that's ridiculous.
Why is it ridiculous?
Because he wouldn't just move the fucking head; he would take it out. Oh, for fuck's sakes, JP! It's a screw up in the film. It's a total goof.
But it could be explained away, is what I'm saying.
See, I saw that it would break.
It's a fucking goof, man. It's a goof.
It would have crushed her back, not her head. Because her head was like all the way into the car.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, when she gets decapitated, she's facing down. Her head's not going to fucking turn itself right up and be looking up when they discover the head later. It's a screw up. It's simply a screw up.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, it's a screw up. I know that. But I'm saying, like, whenever there's a screw up, if you can explain it away, then I choose to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's quite obviously a fucking goof in the film.
Yeah, for sure.
You're standing up for him.
So,
where's the tits?
Isn't
this a slasher
brief
film?
One.
Yeah, for 2 seconds.
There's like no nudity in this film.
There is no nudity, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, there's and that's another thing
that's
always caught me off guard. The hot tub scene in this film, I think it just happens so early in the film, and it's the music. It just feels so damn out of place. I'm like, we just got back there, and they're just gonna fucking start. I don't know. It just always felt out of place to me, man.
It's so weird. They're like going around in circles, and the camera's tracking around them. It makes no sense. It's trying to be artsy, but it's not artsy.
And the song that's played is so beyond cheesy.
I thought it was setting the mood, man.
I honestly think it was too early. It just seemed like, okay, they're having these dinner, and all of a sudden they're just bang in the hot tub, and it's all like fucking.
After she's already like, I'm not interested.
But see, my thing is, I felt like the whole movie was too early. Like the setup for the killer happened literally right away. That normally doesn't happen in like the, okay, it's like, okay, now we're going to tell you about the killer that roamed this. Normally there's, scenes where we meet the characters first and things like that, character development. So I think that this film has like a weird, like, narrative in the first place with, not only does it not have your typical like character setup, like, take like, sleepaway camp or something where the kids get off the bus and they're all talking and you get to meet Angela and you get to meet Greg or whatever the hell the kid's name is. And, you know, this one is just like, oh, there they are. Oh, now they're over here. And, oh, now there's a killer. Like, and you also kind of don't have, like, a single protagonist either, which you kind of hop around from people, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Well, yeah, and that brings me to a point I was going to make too. I mean, the order of the kills are interesting in the film because, you know, you think that the guy that dies early in the film is probably going to be, you know, your main protagonist kind of thing, right? Which he turns out not to be. It's so weird how they did that. So I give him credit for that. That was kind of a shock, you know. I mean, obviously it's not a shock once he goes out to look for the kid that veered off into the house because of course that's going to happen, right?
That's another problem I had with the film. He
I know.
fucking let all the kids live.
That's one thing that's always bugged me about the film too, is that he never went after the kids ever once.
Oh.
Which is strange because he killed his own kids.
Yeah, but Jason didn't do that either.
I know, but there's potential to have a lot of body count in this film, man.
Yeah.
Like, it could be a fucking bloodbath, right? But, you know, they strayed away from it. I agree with Jeremy 100%. Something that's always bugged me about this film, that none of the kids except for his own were killed in this film. It's, like, fucking brutal.
He, like, walks right past him, man.
I do give him props for killing kids in the first place, though, man. Because those were some brutal ways to kill them.
Well, I'm just saying, in the present, though, there is potential to have a really awesome body count in this film.
Just, like, walks right past him.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
I don't know. I was hoping for, like, I know it was low budget, but I don't want to spoil it, though. Let's just say I was hoping for a Tom Savini head explosion during one part of the movie. I was like, oh, man, that's such a missed opportunity.
Yeah, actually, the shotgun, oh, my God, that part is funny as hell. It makes me fucking piss myself every time I see that part. I'm like, fuck it. It just looks so funny.
Because it's like...
And it's kind of mean-spirited, too, actually.
Because he shoots her, and she's still intact. Nothing happens. It's like, it's a fucking shotgun at point blank.
It could have been like birdshot, dude.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm serious. When you can explain stuff away, then you can't use it as a plot hole.
I'm not saying it's a plot hole. I'm just saying that they didn't have enough money, so it's just funny.
Well, you know, besides like the opening 20 minutes there, we did talk about some of the wood cinematography, and some of the shots are really nice. Well lit and look great.
Yeah. Yep.
I read once that, you know, the cinematography turned out a lot better than it was really supposed to. I believe that the blue tinge that came about in the final transfer of this film was actually not supposed to be there. It's just the way it was lit and the way it was shot. So it's kind of interesting how, like, you know, kind of a screw up like that turned out to be so well done. Mm-hmm. But I think that's one of the coolest things about the film, and it creates the coolest atmosphere is, you know, especially that first shot where you see Madman up in the bush there, up in the tree. I mean,
yeah,
just that background, man. It's got this blue tinge, and it's just
it's not the best lit shot though.
No, that one isn't. But I love just that. I love the way that shot is. But like, there's progressively gets better with. But this blue tinge that's throughout the film is just like, it's a cool feel.
It kind of reminds me of like a Scooby-Doo episode.
Yeah.
This whole movie.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah. Madman Mars, he's a cool killer.
I was going to say that was my number one like positive of this film. I love Madman Mars as a killer. You don't see a lot of heavy set like killers, like slashers, unless it's like...
He could fucking run.
Yeah.
The killer from Slaughterhouse is a big fucker too.
Yeah, but I liked his
I think they ripped
look.
off Madman in that though.
He's almost like a little bit like animalistic too, but it never is to where it's overly like where you're like, that's stupid. You know?
Yeah.
This is supposed to be based on Cropsey.
Yeah.
As The Burning is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but The Burning's a much better movie though.
I believe at the same time, these films were being made at the same time in 1981, and apparently Madman's storyline was a little different. It was very similar to the one that is showcased in The Burning.
Yeah, they mentioned that in the Burning special features.
Yeah, so they find out about this, and then they had to kind of change their story a little bit and make him Madman, so that's what they came up with, which is fine. You know, it looks cool.
$3,500 or $350,000 budget on this one.
But what's that with inflation?
I don't know.
$350,000 on Madman? Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll look then.
That's still pretty low, dude.
Yeah, it's relatively.
Probably the budget that the Babadook had.
Yeah, but the technology wasn't also readily available as back then either. So yeah, I love the way Madman looks. I love the mythology of the character. I love the setting. I love some of the shots where you just see Madman's arm like on a tree as a character walks by.
Oh, I guess that's not that much. 918,000.
Yeah, that's not that much.
That's not that much.
Or all these different scenes where they do a lot of those like setup establishing shots of Madman where he's like it sets up the scene where somebody walks by and Madman's like in the background. Like I like that stuff. It I said, it reminded me like a Scooby-Doo episode or something. But I thought he looked good. I thought he looked good, and I actually liked the ending. I wasn't expecting it to kind of go down like that.
I hate the ending. I think it's so weak, and it just would, like, he's Madman Mars. Like, how is he being? I don't want to give anything away, but I just don't think it'd go down like that at all.
We're talking about two different parts of the ending, obviously. Like, the way that
and I will refer. I'll kind of state that the final girl in this film, I think she's so weak.
Oh yeah,
this is like so weak, man.
These are some of the more bad characters, not only in every situation, like the friend character, the final girl character, like all of them are weak except for the guy that tells the Madman Mars story.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know, like the whole ending, like the way it goes down, I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I always kind of shake my head at it, but that's me. So,
but besides that, there's not really much to say about this one.
No, there really isn't. That's why I was going to say, like, any final thoughts on the film? I mean, I think we stated the pros and cons and, of the film, or what we liked and what we disliked about the film. So there's really not a lot more to say for me. I mean, the movie could have worked great as a 20-minute short.
Agreed.
It would have been fucking awesome. Yeah. But I don't know, man. I won't lie. I've never really been an overly huge fan of this film. I think it's super overrated. I think this movie just has a cult following because of every time this movie comes out, it goes out of print, and it just always sought out. So people always talk about Madman, like, fucking, I need that Madman film. I need that Madman. So it gets a lot of talk from that result, these being hard to find,
Yeah.
But I'll be honest. I just don't think this is it's not a top shelf slasher at all.
It's definitely not
it has
a
its
top
moments.
shelf slasher.
No way.
It's by far, it's not one of the worst either.
It's like a third tier slasher.
Yeah, it's definitely third
But
tier.
to me, it's one of the better third tier slashers in my opinion.
It definitely is.
I think that this film is actually creepy.
The music alone.
I think that there's scenes that of Madman where he's like in the shadows, or he's like, you just see him briefly. I think that it's like the one scene where TP first leaves, right? And the girl's standing there and she sees over by the other house or whatever, the shed, and he walks past. Like, I feel like if I was a young kid, that would startle me. So I give it props for that. I like that about the film. I like the way that Madman looks. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's not a super good slasher film, and it definitely is popular based on the fact that it was hard to get.
And I have to say, though, now I'm intrigued because, this film kind of being like a third shelf type deal for us, watching the special features and them talking about how
it's really good special features.
They're remaking this film, apparently. We'll see if it actually materializes, but they continue to say that there's a sequel that's penned and a prequel that's penned for this. And I'm like, holy shit, now we're getting fucking 3 more Madman films. But let's start with the remake. And they basically said it's going to be the same but different. So hence remake. I'm really curious to see what they do with this. I mean, there's been times, we all know that there's been some remakes that are better than the originals. Could this be one of them?
Nope. This doesn't even have any legs to stand on. There's nothing unique about it.
No.
You don't think that the remake could possibly be better than this?
Well, it could be better in terms of, like, if it's just a completely
Movie-wise.
different movie, but there's just nothing here to make a movie on.
Besides Madman Mars.
But even then, what is he? He's a Victor Crowley.
So you make this film. So you make this exact storyline, and you throw in about 10 more kills, and we're talking like Tom Savini effects. You know, does that make the film better? Like, would you prefer the remake over the original if there was a lot more kills and a little more character development, but use the same storyline, but a lot more kills? Which, like, it's a downfall for this film because I always believed there was potential to have a really high body count, which they didn't utilize. Yeah. So you have better effects, more kills, a little more interesting characters. You know, you just kind of incorporate these things.
I think the remake could work a lot better. Is if they made a better film, would it be better?
Well,
because that's kind of what you're saying.
But what I'm saying is using the exact same setup.
Yeah, I guess so.
Same story, everything.
I'm
talking about remaking it, but just improving on what they have.
Yeah, I would like the improved version better.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm saying there's potential here to have a better Madman film.
Mm-hmm. But I think we could say that with almost any slasher, right?
Of course you can. Of course you can. It's, you know, it's not. This isn't brain surgery here.
And this is like, this is like the.
But I think this movie has. I'm just giving it because it has a lot of potential to be a lot better.
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's not like it's a total fucking mess, and I'm just like, oh, fuck this.
No, what's the point actually like this movie.
Yeah. So, exactly. Any last words?
Yes, I do have some last words. This is something that was really bugging me in the movie. How many fucking flashlights do these people own? Also, flashlight technology has really fucking increased over the years because those pieces of shit are useless. They don't even work. I was really paying attention to how big the glow was. It was like the size of a 50-cent piece.
Oh, tell me about it, man.
And I'm like, holy shit, it's flashlights. They're all big and bulky and yet weird colored. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I've got a couple, like, you know, little LED lights that I use when I'm out camping. They are fucking bright as shit, man.
I got a pen
that has a flashlight
headlights
on cars
that is better than anything in this film, better than the fucking lantern in this film. But it's funny because, like, next time you watch it, pay attention to how many flashlights they have. Like, the girl has a flashlight in the car, and it, like, goes out, and she's like, how come there isn't another flashlight in this car? And she picks up one. She finds one, though. She finds another flashlight. And then the two go to leave, and the other girl's like, here, take this, and hands him a flashlight. It's like, there's so many flashlights. The girl finds a flashlight on the floor in the woods. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. There's so many flashlights, and all of them suck. But that's one thing that I wanted to mention.
Good times. Good times. Jeremy, got any last things to say before ratings?
It's just okay.
Yeah.
I don't ever see myself watching it again, to be honest. But
really?
Yeah, I don't. I don't know.
You gotta look. Jeremy's not a big rewatcher in general.
Yeah, I mean that is true. That is true.
I watched.
I just didn't find much enjoyment out of it, to be honest. I mean, it's just it's a low budget slasher film.
It's exactly what it is.
It's not as good as The Burning. It's not even close to The Burning, and you know, it is what it is.
You know, it's funny actually. I rewatched this film obviously again last night, and I was quickly just kind of skimming through people's thoughts on the film, and I came across this one review, and he said that he had recently watched The Burning and Madman back to back, and I bring this up because we're just talking about this, and he's like, man, Madman is such a better film than The Burning. I was like, shit, really? I'm like, wow, it's amazing how people just view it just astounded me. I was like, no, it's not a better film than The Burning at all.
It's not a better film, but no. The gap between what you guys see The Burning and Madman is probably a little bit smaller than or a bit bigger than what I see it as. But it's definitely not better.
No, Madman is not better. And, I mean, that's just our opinions, right? So, whatever. I was just surprised to read that. It was like the first thing, so interesting. But let's get to ratings. What do you guys rate this one?
I'll go first. I never go first.
Wow.
Okay, so, when we talk about slashers, I see, like, the first tier, your Nightmare on Elm Streets, your Halloweens. Your second tier is, like, your sleepaway camps. And this is your third tier. This is sort of the lower class of the slasher. There's films that are in this world, like Hospital Massacre, for example. It's a third tier slasher, and it deserves a third tier slasher rating. So I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10.
Well, I mean, on that note, yeah, I mean, I can't agree more. You know, I mean, we've stated our thoughts on this, and I'm really, really fucking surprised, JP, that we have the same rating at 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Yeah. Word is bond, man. Word is bond. I got 6 out of 10 written here. So
I have a feeling Japanese might be a little lower than ours.
I have a feeling it might be a little lower too. I was just surprised that we both came in at 6.
Just average 5 out of 10.
All right.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I figured. 5.5. So yeah, I mean, they're all relatively the same.
I'm glad it got a release though, because it is another slasher from the 80s that I'd never seen. So, you know, it's another one off the list. Knocking another one off.
Yeah. Well, that is going to conclude episode 54. Hope you guys enjoyed the featured review of Madman, of course, from 1982, and all the other stuff that we talked about in the show. And yeah, of course, we'll see you guys in episode 55. Jeremy, take us away.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening to episode 54 of the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast. As always, if you want to follow the man Moodz himself, you can do so at youtube.com/Moodz616. If you want to follow my fellow camp counselor, you could do so at youtube.com/DoubleShotJ. And yes, he still hates Pee Wee Herman. And as always, you can follow me on my channel, youtube.com/NESRuler22, and I promise I will not use the Schenkel angle at any time on my channel. And as always, you can follow us on our website at 22shotsofmoodsandhorror.com. That's 22shotsofmoodsandhorror.com, and you can email us any questions you have at the 22shotsofmoodsandhorror@gmail.com. That's 22shotsofmoodsandhorror@gmail.com. And as always, you can follow us on Twitter at 22shots podcast, and you can follow us on the Facebook page, facebook.com. Search bar 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror. Join the Facebook page. Lots of awesome peeps over there. And as always, if you have any questions, you can leave us a voicemail at 724-426-6665. That should do it, folks. We shall be back on September 11th, boo shitty day, for episode 55 of the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast. We'll be checking out Artsploitation's newly released film Cub.
21st release from Artsploitation.
Yeah, so until a month from now, that shall do it. Peace out.
Peace.
Later. That is a wrap on episode number 54.
Fuck.